Chairman of the Bougainville Affairs Matters Bipartisan Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Honorable members, pursuant to statute, I present the report of the Bipartisan Parliamentary Committee on Bougainville Matters relating to the nationwide public consultations conducted regarding the Bougainville Referendum 2026.
Make your speech. Honorable Chairman, you will ask leave of the Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, I ask leave of the Parliament to make a statement in connection with the report.
Is the leave granted? Aye. Leave granted. Mr. Chairman, make your speech.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I rise today to present the report of the Bipartisan Parliamentary Committee on Bougainville Matters on the nationwide public consultations conducted regarding the Bougainville Referendum. This report presents the views and perspectives expressed by citizens during consultations held across Papua New Guinea and in the autonomous region of Bougainville. These views and perspectives were recorded and subsequently transcribed verbatim. The purpose of the committee report is not to determine or advocate for a particular outcome, but to uphold Parliament's duty to listen to and represent the views of citizens as this House considers matters arising from the 2019 referendum within the constitutional framework of Papua New Guinea. The consultations were undertaken as part of Parliament's continuing responsibility under the Bougainville Peace Agreement and the Constitution of Papua New Guinea. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the committee approached this task with a clear understanding that the question of Bougainville's future political status is among the most important constitutional and political issues facing our nation. It is an issue shaped by a complex history, a history from early human settlement through the times of early explorers, the period of German and British colonization, the Australian pre-independence rule, early PNG self-governance and independence, an issue shaped by the experiences of conflict and reconciliation, and by the commitments made in the Bougainville Peace Agreement that restored peace and stability after a difficult period in our country's history. As members of this House are aware, the Bougainville Peace Agreement, born out of conflict and heartaches, established a carefully balanced framework for resolving long-standing political questions through peaceful and constitutional means. It recognized Bougainville's unique historical experience while also reaffirming the role of the National Parliament in considering the outcome of the referendum within the constitutional framework of Papua New Guinea. In this context, the Bipartisan Parliamentary Committee on Bougainville Matters was tasked with supporting parliamentary engagement and ensuring that the views of citizens across the country could be heard as part of this important national conversation. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the consultations conducted by the committee pursuant to its terms of reference provided an opportunity for citizens from all regions of Papua New Guinea to express their views and perspectives. Consultations were held in provincial centers across the Highlands, Momase, Southern and New Guinea Islands regions, as well as in the autonomous region of Bougainville. Participants represented a broad cross-section of society, including community leaders, church representatives, women and youth groups, civil society organizations, academics, legal practitioners, former and current public officials, and members of the general public. The committee also received written submissions from individuals and organizations from Bougainville and from other parts of the country. Through these engagements, the committee heard a broad range of perspectives from participants across the country. Contributors reflected on the significance of the referendum and the aspirations expressed by the people of Bougainville, while also highlighting the importance of constitutional processes, national unity, and careful consideration of future arrangements. Overall, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the discussions demonstrated a strong awareness of the importance of the issue and a shared commitment to addressing it thoughtfully, responsibly, and in a manner that upholds peace, stability, and the principles of our Constitution. Mr. Deputy Speaker, although participants expressed a variety of views, several important themes emerged consistently across consultations in all regions. First, there was a strong recognition across all consultations of the importance of maintaining peace and stability. Participants frequently referred to the legacy of the Bougainville conflict and emphasized the need for Parliament to approach its consideration with care, responsibility, and a clear commitment to preserving the peace achieved through years of dialogue and reconciliation. Second, Mr. Deputy Speaker, many participants highlighted the importance of constitutional process. There was a strong emphasis on the expectation that Parliament's consideration of the referendum outcome will proceed transparently and in accordance with the Constitution and the Bougainville Peace Agreement, recognizing that clarity and openness in the process can help foster public understanding and confidence. Thirdly, Mr. Deputy Speaker, consultations highlighted the need for careful planning in considering future arrangements. Participants raised issues relating to governance capacity, economic stability, and institutional development, emphasizing the importance of managing any transition in an orderly and responsible manner. Mr. Deputy Speaker, another theme that emerged during the consultations was the importance of continued dialogue and constructive engagement between Bougainville and the rest of Papua New Guinea. Many participants emphasized that regardless of the eventual outcome, the future relationship should continue to be guided by cooperation, mutual respect, and a shared commitment to peace and stability, reflected in especially the sequencing of peace efforts and negotiations with the support of regional and international partners in the 1990s, resulting in dialogues, declarations, and truces. Then the Bougainville Peace Agreement signed on the 30th day of August 2001, Part 14 of the Constitution of the Independent State of Papua New Guinea, the Bougainville Constitution, the conduct of the referendum, the consultations producing the Sharp Agreement, the Kokopo consultations, then the Wabeg Roadmap, followed by the Era-Kone Covenant, and the peace efforts and negotiations resulting in the most recent joint commitments and principles inside the Melanesian Agreement signed by the Prime Minister and the President of the ABG on the 26th of June 2025. Mr. Deputy Speaker, this report, therefore, provides Parliament with a balanced and comprehensive account of the views expressed by citizens during the consultation process. Its purpose is to support informed deliberation by this House as it considers matters arising from the Bougainville Referendum. The perspectives captured in the report reflect both the aspirations and concerns expressed by citizens across the country. They highlight the complexity of the issues before Parliament and underline the importance of careful, responsible, and inclusive decision-making. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I recognize that these complexities and the need for careful and responsible decision-making are also being addressed through ongoing discussions between the government of Papua New Guinea and the autonomous Bougainville government, as well as through the engagement of the National Parliament and the Bougainville House of Representatives under the terms of the Melanesian Agreement alluded to. The Melanesian Agreement signed in June 2025 encompasses a set of agreed joint commitments and agreed principles between Papua New Guinea and Bougainville, including maintaining a close, peaceful, and enduring relationship and the co-design of a Melanesian framework to guide the pathway forward. And in this regard, I would urge each and every member of Parliament to carefully read the Melanesian Agreement. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the committee believes that these consultations have contributed to a broader national understanding of the issues surrounding Bougainville's political future. They demonstrate that Papua New Guineans remain committed to resolving important national questions through peaceful dialogue and constitutional processes. In closing, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I wish to acknowledge the members of the Bipartisan Parliamentary Committee on Bougainville Matters for their constructive and bipartisan engagement throughout this process. I also extend appreciation to the staff of the National Parliament for their support and to all individuals and organizations throughout the country who participated in the consultations and provided written submissions. Mr. Deputy Speaker, their contributions demonstrate the strength of democratic engagement in our country and the shared commitment of Papua New Guineans to addressing difficult national questions through dialogue, consultation, and respect for constitutional principles. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I commend this report to Parliament. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Sinisina Yangomal.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to ask for leave of Parliament that to take note of this paper and to defer a request debate to a later date so that we can read this report. It's a very important report. We just received it. We don't want to speak off the cuff. So we want to read it, understand it carefully so we can make meaningful contributions to the important debate that's in our hands. So we ask for leave of Parliament that debate be deferred to maybe tomorrow or Thursday, Friday, and we debate this meaningfully. Otherwise, we'll do a rush job, and it's a sensitive matter, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Sino Yongomul, on the advice I got, this debate now is before the Parliament. There will be no question put to the end of this debate. It will be still open for debate, urgent for the debate in the next coming day of session. So if you don't have any brief information of reading the papers, there will be still time for you to read and get yourself familiar, and the debate will still continue for others too. So, Honorable Member, I will still allow the debate to go on the floor of Parliament. The Minister for Bougainville Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to make a few offer a few debates in support of the statement and the report presented by the chairman of the Bipartisan Parliamentary Committee on Bougainville, Honorable Dr. Alan Marrett. Before I offer my debate in support of the statement and the report, I'd like to take this moment to acknowledge the Vice President of Autonomous Bougainville Government, Honorable Ezekiel Massad, and the members of the ABG who are presented up in the gallery, as well as other visitors in the House. As part of my debate in support of the statement and the report given, I wish to offer a short update on the national government and the ABG's work on the ongoing Bougainville peace process. Before I do that, I'd like to offer a brief comment on the statement presented by the chairman of the Parliamentary Committee, Honorable Dr. Marrett. I want to offer my sincere accommodation to this important work done by the Parliamentary Committee. This report is very important. The Bougainville issue is the single most important issue that's facing our country at the moment. We must understand that at this point in time, we as leaders are placed in a very significant point in time in the history of our country to decide on the future political settlement of Bougainville, and at the same time shape the course of our country going forward. The referendum result that is before us is part of the ongoing Bougainville peace process. We must understand that the three main pillars in the long-standing Bougainville peace process. We are now at the at the close of the last process of the Bougainville peace process. The first process was autonomy, which was completed by the establishment of the autonomous Bougainville government, which has been in existence for over 20 years now. The second process was the weapons disposal program that was completed. And the third and the last process is the referendum process, which we are close to coming to a conclusion of the referendum process. I must emphasize at this juncture the importance of the work of the parliamentary committee. This report is very important, and I would urge all members of parliament to take your time and go through and have a read of it. The reason why I say the work of the bipartisan parliamentary committee is very important and this report is important, we must understand that in this last process, under the Bougainville Peace Agreement and the Constitution, in particular, Part 14 of the Constitution, the referendum for Bougainville was sanctioned by our Constitution, Mama Lawyer. The Constitution allowed, we must understand that the Constitution only allowed for the referendum to be held for the people of Bougainville only. If you read the Constitution, Division 7 of the Part 14 and the Bougainville Peace Agreement, the referendum was only allowed to be held by the people of Bougainville. The Constitution even allow him, the rest of the country, will have him referendum, will decide, will future political settlement of Bougainville. Bougainville Peace Agreement, Constitution, allowing people of Bougainville Tassel, will talk about future political settlement. And that is the reason why the work of the parliamentary committee is important, because the purpose of the work of the parliamentary committee and go around all over the country, location view people, because over the rest of the country did not have a referendum to have a say on the future of the Bougainville. And all people of Bougainville, that's all. It gives him this referendum, now all express in this view, one settlement, political settlement of Bougainville. That is why me to come mas long chairman long parliamentary committee when the all members all go round all get help lo country na kissing view lo people only thing one long this la referendum result where me start finish where me talk 97.7 in favor long independence lo Bougainville. I'm no one believe or something. Decision long independence. Bougainville. This issue is very important. That is why me talk hamamas long parliamentary committee all around long, long country location view all people, because all people you mean all country all no have a referendum have a say. It was only allowed to the people of Bougainville. But under the same constitution law section 342, because of this law, this referendum result must come back to the national parliament, leaders who said they represent the rest of the country to make a final decision. That is why you may the leaders start this 11th parliament. We are now placed in a very important period in the history of our country to make a very critical decision, settling political future belong Bougainville, where people yet only express in the referendum sanctioned by the Constitution itself. And you must also know that while you make that decision, you are also reshaping the course of the country as we know it. And there is a critical decision. That's not an easy decision to make. That's why I encourage all members of parliament to take time to read the committee's report that was presented. With that, I am going to give a short update on the process that the government has undertaken in consultation with the ABG to bring the referendum result into Parliament for this Parliament to make a final decision. I must also advise the House that the process that is to be established to bring the referendum result into Parliament for that decision to be taken is ready now. I must inform that I am in receipt of the sessional order, which is the process that the Parliament will adopt to make that decision. I am in receipt of the draft sessional order forwarded by the Speaker. And that sessional order will be presented here once it's cleared by the NEC to be presented. Mr. Speaker, I now would like to provide a brief update to this Honourable House on the progress of the Bougainville peace process and the preparations that is at hand for the next stage of parliamentary consideration. At the outset, once again, I acknowledge and thank the Chairman of the Parliamentary Committee, Honourable Marat, for presenting the committee's report on its regional consultations conducted throughout Papua New Guinea and Bougainville. The committee's work has made an important contribution to raising awareness, fostering informed discussion, and gathering the views of Papua New Guineans on one of the most significant national issues before us. Mr. Speaker, since the signing of the Melanesian Agreement in June 2025, the national government and the autonomous Bougainville government have continued to engage constructively through the joint moderation consultation process. These discussions have focused on the development of a mutually agreed Melanesian framework, which remains one of the most important pieces of work currently underway between the two governments, the national government and ABG. The purpose of the Melanesian framework is to provide a structured and a practical roadmap to guide future relations between Papua New Guinea and Bougainville. It is intended to identify the key political, constitutional governance, economic and fiscal issues that would need to be addressed under any future political settlement, while ensuring that peace, stability and orderly implementation remain at the center of the process. The Melanesian framework reflects a Melanesian approach to dialogue, consensus building and reconciliation, recognizing the importance of maintaining peaceful and cooperative relations between Papua New Guinea and Bougainville, regardless of the ultimate constitutional outcome. It seeks to provide a pathway that is respectful of the aspirations of the people of Bougainville while safeguarding the broader interest of all Papua New Guineans. The framework is currently considering a range of methods, including governance and institutional arrangements, the progressive transfer of powers and functions, physical and economic sustainability, citizenship, nationality issues, constitutional and legislative requirements, transitional arrangements, and other practical measures that may be required to support the implementation of any future settlement agreed by the parties and considered by Parliament. Importantly, the framework is not intended to predetermine any decision of Parliament. Rather, it is being developed to assist members of this House by providing greater clarity regarding the implications, opportunities, challenges, and implementation requirements that may arise from future decisions concerning Bougainville's political future. Discussions on the framework have been progressing in a constructive and respectful manner, and officials from both governments continue to work together to identify areas of common understanding and agreement. While some matters remain the subject of ongoing consultation, I am encouraged by the progress that has been made to date. Work is also continuing on the joint consultation report, which will bring together the outcome of the post-referendum consultations undertaken since 2019. The report will provide Parliament with a comprehensive record of discussions between the national government and the autonomous Bougainville government, and is intended to incorporate the progress achieved through the joint moderated consultations and development of the Melanesian framework. While important progress has been made, a number of matters remain under active consideration by government. These include the ongoing development of Melanesian framework, finalization of the joint consultation report, and consideration of the legal, constitutional, and procedural pathways available to government and parliament in relation to Bougainville referendum process. Accordingly, the National Executive Council will meet prior to the next sitting week to consider these matters and provide direction on the appropriate way forward for the referendum result to be brought into the House. I therefore intend to return to this House next week to make a more comprehensive statement on the Bougainville peace process, including an update on the outcomes of the National Executive Council's deliberations, progress on the Melanesian framework and the joint consultation report, and the next steps arising from government's consideration of the available constitutional and parliamentary process. Mr. Speaker, the government remains committed to ensuring this process proceeds in a lawful, orderly, and peaceful manner, consistent with the Bougainville Peace Agreement, the Constitution, and our shared commitment to lasting peace, national unity, and stability. With that, I thank the House, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Governor for ECPIC.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and I'd like to acknowledge the leaders of the Autonomous Region of Bougainville who are present in the House with us today. Mr. Deputy Speaker, yumi sabe lo seriousness lo display issue where yumi by debate longem na me agree also. And by taking some time, I mean for us leaders to be fully, I guess, understanding of the consequences of whatever decisions that are eventually taken. I want to say that I'm thankful to the Minister that we will not be dealing with the sessional order today. And in that regard, I want to speak to the people of the Autonomous Region of Bougainville by saying that mibla plenty of people of Papua New Guinea, mibla share him grievance plebla. And I would like the people of Bougainville to understand that there are many Papua New Guineans who feel hard done by under successive oppressive governments at the central level. And so you got plenty of Papua New Guineans whereby one bell, na isherim bell heavy na wariblo yupla. At the same time too, I think there are many Papua New Guineans who at the same time would not like to see the people of Bougainville leave the Union of Papua New Guinea. And I think those are the difficult questions that I think this House will have to confront at some point. Mr. Speaker, lo me feel also me no qualify as a member of Parliament to give my own opinion on whether the Bougainvilleans should stay or go, even though my own opinions are strongly leaning one way, as this House have heard me speak on many occasions. So what we have done in ECPIC, Mr. Speaker, is I have asked all my local level government presidents to conduct their own hearings in all of the 28 local level governments of ECPIC province and to bring the result of those discussions with our people of ECPIC to the Provincial Assembly so that we can discuss it there and then we can have a fair decision on where the people of ECPIC are leaning on this issue. And when that happens, Mr. Speaker, I will then present that result on the floor, which I think would be a fair way of gauging where the people of ECPIC stand on this matter, taking into consideration the fact that there was a high-level delegation from the Autonomous Region of Bougainville, including the Honorable President Ismail Toroama, who visited the province and paid their respects to the founding father, the Grand Chief, the Right Honorable Sir Michael Thomas Somare. And they had their own conversations with the Grand Chief at his resting place. So, Mr. Speaker, in consideration of all of that, me like Togolsem, while we thank the committee for the work it has done and for bringing the report here today for us to study. And I also thank the minister responsible for informing the House that the sessional order will come later. The request I'd like to make of the government through you as the chair, Mr. Speaker, is that a proper timetable be drawn up for all of these subsequent matters to take place so that Member of Parliament, we can be better informed as to, and I suppose also the people of the autonomous region of Bougainville and their leaders can be properly informed as to what is going to take place. I mean, for myself in the opposition, I only found out last week that this report would be presented, and I had no idea it would be presented today, Mr. Speaker. So, this plagain pasin blong, yubla walking walk bla nabiani kam na surprising miblo narbla. I think is unbecoming of leaders, especially for a conversation that is this important and this critical, not just to the people of Bougainville, but to the country. So, me like request him through you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Deputy Speaker, that a timetable on all of these matters on when they're going to be discussed, when is the sessional order coming, be prepared and given to all of us, Mr. Speaker. So, one them desla final asking below me. Me like talk, thank you long, you giving me this opportunity to make him display legally talk. Lo make him mouse belong, people belong is sipping. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
The Honourable Governor of the Southern Highlands.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, me too like me should harem leaders long Bougainville, long Parliament debate long this important report where Chairman he give him long end, but I speak my mind. Similar to Parliament and honourable members of Parliament having full understanding of the issues surrounding Bougainville, because as we all know, Mr. Deputy Speaker, Bougainville is singly the most important matter facing this country today. I mean, one legally something where you me all members by talk, plan the all members during our consultation, me harem. Some lot of you come to Parliament na, working participate in debate. Hey, it's a very important matter. You need to be present. It's not about being absent. It's not about abstaining. It is an important matter facing the country today. On that note, me like commending Chairman on a very good report and consultation where you may walk him long in. Also, on this note, I want to commend the minister as young and capable and energetic, but it's being handled very well in a very mature way. You would all agree with me. The minister has, in my view, competently, professionally dealt with one of PNG's sensitive and very important matter. So I commend the minister for dealing with this thus far. Among others, if you can read the Melanesian Agreement. This Melanesian Agreement, among others, it talks about one of these provisions. It says the parties are committed to maintaining a close, peaceful, and enduring relationship between PNG and Bougainville. This must be respected and upheld by both ABG and the national government. This is a fundamental matter. ABG and the national government must set the pathway for Parliament to reach a peaceful agreement on where we will head the future of this settlement. Awesome. I'm not afraid to say this, but in the social media, the president is saying at some stage, some months ago. And talk, Papua New Guinea government, if no consider him independence for me, September by me declare him independence. You know, responsible governments, responsible leaders, we should not be holding each other at ransom. Even the side Blomipla too. The Pangu-led government, as government, must provide the framework as to where we want to go for the future of this country. Nanalba thinking again, whichever government has conducted a full assessment, audit of all the money that has been spent in Bougainville for autonomous government, whether the autonomous transfer of powers has been fully implemented, whether the gun surrender has been fully surrendered, and now the referendum results that we want to bring it to Parliament through sessional order. So we need an assessment, direct assessment from government to determine how well have we succeeded, including failures and also strengths in implementing the autonomous government, activities that we have had over the past years. We need to know as a country, have we done well in implementing the autonomy? How much more money go? What about district capacities? What about revenue generating capacities? What about implementation capacities at the districts, at the provincial level? And of course, all this. So we can appreciate that the peace agreement pillars of transfer of the functions, the gun surrender, and now bringing the referendum results to Parliament. Maybe I'll also contribute in my debate as to what is critical for me, but for now, I think we should point ABG and we should point to national government for the agreed pathway, peaceful pathway that will bring peace to both the autonomous region and the independent state of PNG. What is that framework? What timelines? So that's my view of how we should deal with the referendum results. Let's not be scaremongering and fearing this. We can deal with this referendum result that is challenging the people of Bougainville and also to Parliament and PNG as a whole. So I want to encourage the members of Parliament to read and understand this thing, get out of this fear, scaremongering thing in our mind, appreciate the issues, and Parliament can deal with it in terms of the way forward for this country. So I concur with the Honorable Karenga Kua and Dr. Allen Bed. Reading this all information, understanding good. Now, where are we going in terms of the future? So it's an important matter for this country to debate and, provide the support to government as to what would be important for both Bougainville and Papua New Guinea. So on this note, you may not hold him, the government of PNG or the president, people of Bougainville should not hold each other at ransom because it's a very important matter for this country. And I want to encourage the leaders of this country to take this thing openly and understand the issues, and let's debate as our people are watching. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Governor for NCD.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, to give me a privilege to contribute to this very important discussion and debate. I want to firstly acknowledge all the leaders from ABG who are here with us to hear our views on this very important discussion that will define both our own journey as the rest of Papua New Guinea and also for our people of Bougainville. I want to acknowledge too, Mr. Deputy Speaker, all the speakers who have spoken ahead of me, very important contribution and points that they've raised. I want to acknowledge too, last week, our two leaders from Bougainville, equally of PNG2, Leader of Government Business, Minister for Works and Highway, really giving us a very contextualized, debate on how we can think about this very important issue, defining the future of Bougainville, which will equally define our own journey as a nation, as a people. And equally, member for North Bougainville, Honorable Semoso, our sister, leader in her own right, representing our people of North Bougainville, giving a very compassionate or passionate, appeal to all of us to use our wisdom. Think about Bougainville, think about PNG as a whole, think about the past, think about present and the future. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I can see that members of Parliament, we are perhaps a bit hesitant or want to be given a bit more time, and that's understandable. This, as we have all acknowledged, is a very sensitive, subject matter. We are very passionate about our country, Papua New Guinea, our journey for the 50 years, how we did emerge together, Mr. Deputy Speaker. It's not easy. And, the future of our country, will it remain intact, or will this act of releasing Bougainville go, if we go that way, will have a domino effect of Kainosema? So this really, emotions and mind, things that are going through our minds that we must acknowledge. But nevertheless, Mr. Deputy Speaker and members of Parliament, we leaders, we are elected by our people. We must see this as a privilege and opportunity. It's a great privilege to be here in Parliament, and even greater to be contributing to a decision that will define the future of our nation and our people. So we should embrace this opportunity. Of course, with all the challenges and all the fears, all the emotions, but equally thinking about our people of Bougainville. What would be they thinking about, and what is in their mind, and how we can contribute to a better future, a greater future for all our people and for the people of Bougainville. And, thinking about the past, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the past full of pain and agony, loss of life. People have, witnessed tragedies in their life, both for Bougainville and other Papua New Guineans, our fellow citizens too. We have achieved a great, unprecedented outcome since then in 2001, Mr. Deputy Speaker. We should be proud of it. It's, a outcome that is unprecedented in the world, Mr. Deputy Speaker. We've achieved peace, and we have respected the peace fully. That is exceptional. And we should be proud of it. And we should take courage from it, that for the future, we can define it so that it becomes exceptional to the world too. Something that is exceptional to the world. I believe we can do it. And the spirit is there in the Melanesian Agreement, and in all the dialogues that has been taking place, and in the peace that we have maintained up to now, Mr. Deputy Speaker. So while we are hesitant and, thinking a lot, I think, Mr. Deputy Speaker, too, we should have courage and seize this opportunity too. Mr. Deputy Speaker and honorable members, we have the benefit of hindsight, 50 years, trying to forge and put this nation together. Our leaders, Grand Chief and his peers at that time in 1968 and early 70s, they had all the same sort of thought process going into their mind. Will this union or project work called Papua New Guinea? Will all our people agree to come together as one nation, one people, one country? Some of the leaders at the time were not ready. They had doubts. They probably hesitant too. But through leadership, Grand Chief and his colleagues in Pangu, they were able to craft this nation together. And it's never been easy. It's not easy to keep it as one nation, one people, one country. But we have come 50 years. And we must recognize that, Mr. Deputy Speaker, as we think about the referendum coming for us for ratification or whatever decision that we make. It is this parliament that must make this decision. We cannot defer it to the next parliament, the 12th parliament. We are given this opportunity. Yeah? But Mr. Deputy Speaker, honorable members, our people too are listening. Building nations is not easy. And it's never perfect. And it's never completed too. You see one of the early union out there called United Kingdom. It's not perfect. And it's still going through processes and challenges. Even Scotland had a referendum to leave the Union. So all this nation-building exercise, no easy here. And for us in Papua New Guinea, 1,000 tribes, 860 languages, so many cultures and tradition and kind. Was not going to be easy from the beginning. But we have held it together for 50 years. And in this process, the ideal was that we'll keep it together. But that's the ideal. Somare wanted it to be together. Albert Maurikiki and everybody wanted, Thomas Cavalli wanted it to be together. But some things, maybe we will have control of it, we might not have control of it, Mr. Deputy Speaker. And that's where we are now. So we've got all this emotion with our country, blending it together, 1,000 tribes, 860 languages. We've come 50 years. But you may go, Sonim, you may lose him. We can still keep it together. What if Bougainville goes, but you may put down? So I want to acknowledge my brother, Governor of Southern Islands. You may not afraid. And I want to encourage us to not to be afraid of the future. As I said, Mr. Deputy Speaker, in the nation too, you can look at one of the, maybe if we say, I'm not sure it's perfect, but the People's Republic of China, communist system here. It's a bit like authoritarian or kairos, one party, one government, but still, they are still going through the same process. Taiwan Igoya, it emerged out of that 1947-46, civil war. So one party succeeded, People's Republic of China come up, all this line all loose, all go to Taiwan, and they want to be a different country. So even in China, they're still going through the agony of making their country become real. By China and Taiwan, it come up one. Okay, Hong Kong, it come back finished. But Taiwan is still insisting that it want to be separate, so it's not something unique to us. Honorable leaders, it's not something unique to us so that you may be afraid. We should think about how we can define the future. Like Somare and his colleagues in 1968 and 1970s, coming to 75. They are thinking about this nation. Can we bring it together as one people, one nation? And they didn't, have everybody's agreement. At the time, Sampla Laini like go to here. Papua region wants to go and become the 7th state of Australia. Sampla Laini long, Narblab too like go. But with leadership and reaching out, using Melanesian system, he was able to bring everybody together. And I think we are at that, time too, that we must think about how we can shape this. And so the most important thing, Mr. Deputy Speaker and honorable members, is to think about making the future better than the past. That's what we should be addressing our mind to. I would like to appeal to everyone. So on this note, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I want to commend Chairman Dr. Marat, member for Rabaul and his committee. It's an important exercise to go out and get the views of our people. Governor of SCP is undergoing a process to consult our people in SCP, which we should encourage. I think all our leaders, all of us MPs, if we want to go the way Governor of SCP want to do too, it would be good. But the committee has, in this report, has given us a strong direction from our people. And I just want to repeat some of it, that how we go forward, thinking about the ratification of the referendum result, 97%. First, Mr. Deputy Speaker, our people says that whatever we do, we must maintain importance of maintaining peace and stability. That's the first important point. So whatever we do between national government, us as parliament, and our people in ABG, people of Bougainville, we maintain peace and stability. And I think we are committed to that. I can see there is goodwill in the leadership in ABG. President Toroama is committed to that. He has shown it. And there is goodwill. And their commitment to peace by peaceful means, I think it's an indication of that. And we can have courage and confidence in that regard. Secondly, the committee says that there must be importance of constitutional process. So our people are indicating to us, Mr. Deputy Speaker, that as long as we are in the Constitution. So I want to remind us in this respect that the Constitution in 2001, it was amended by the ABG agreement, the peace agreement. So when we are addressing this, we must explain to our people that the original Constitution adopted in 1974, one time, and become a formality in 1975, and the ABG agreement resulting in the amendment to the Constitution. So as long as we are in that framework, because our people are indicating that it's important to maintain the, constitutional process, and as long as things are done within the constitutional process, and by your right. So I think we are doing that now, and we should commend ourselves too, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Leaders past and present since 2001, we have honored also the people of Bougainville, the leadership there. We have all honored the spirit of the agreement, the Constitution, both in terms of the original Constitution and the amendment that was brought in by the peace agreement. We have honored it. And as I said, it's unprecedented in the world. Not a world, all signing peace agreement, tomorrow all breach him. But we, Papua New Guinea, with our people in Bougainville, we have shown greatest exception, unprecedented. And we should be commended for this, and we should, Mr. Deputy Speaker, take courage from that to assure ourselves that whatever decision we make, it will be a good decision. It will be a decision that everybody will agree to, I believe. I would like us to believe. I think that consideration, the committee is, reminding us from our people in the, consultation around the country, highlight the need for careful planning in considering the future arrangements. So our people have given us the clear guidelines already, the important consideration. And I can see that the spirit of that, pointers or values are already exist in these 20 years that we have been going through this peace process. So I would like to encourage us to think about it that way and have the courage to make the decision, so that the Minister for Bougainville Affairs can bring the, result of the referendum to Parliament, and we can debate it. And if we need to vote, we should vote. And I am confident that whether we vote to allow them for full independence, all by not go one go here. There will be a process. They might agree to say, okay, Parliament has ratified, but we will allow maybe 15 years or 20 years or all by can go. And everything will be good. Or if we decide that we want ratified, we want to keep Papua New Guinea together, think about something else. Please, Bougainville, think about something else. I think there is goodwill for us to reach that outcome too, both in the wider PNG and also in Bougainville. So with that, I think we should have confidence to go ahead, debate this. Let's debate this. Our people have given us the indication already. This is a wide consultation. The committee has went all over the country. So in the provinces, governors, you play like working, play yet, you plug and work him. Otherwise, this is how the process is allowed by the Constitution. For us to have the committees go and go consultation, report come to us, help us to make a decision. I'm ready for the Parliament to make a decision on this, whether we vote as a party or we vote as a what is it, on our own conscience. I think I would like to suggest to us, Mr. Deputy Speaker, that maybe government should have a position and give us guidance. You may support him, or you may like lose him all go, or you may like lose him all come. Or we have to take leadership. Prime Minister, Grand Chief, they may like him independence. Now, Tayabal, like, but they may make him his responsibility to appeal to Tayabal and whoever else got hesitation. We go for independence. Last time when we were debating about, whether we should have a presidential system or this Westminster system, I reminded all of us that in my conversation with Grand Chief, I asked him why you wanted this, English system that we don't understand. And said, Piginini, this is the time we must straighten Wariblo get a line here. I had a preference goal same, but we must straighten Wariblo get a line to give them comfort. So you mean by using system Loquinia, and then I think that contributed to the Setayable agreeing to us going to independence in 1975. So it needs leadership. Government, you mean you can lose him, I believe, to, everybody to vote on their conscience. Let's be leaders, let's be government, let's think about our country, let's think about our people, let's think about Bougainville too. Have people only, Nautasol, they've been advocating for independence well before 1975. They nearly did the UDI too in 1974. They had their own referendum too before 16 September 1975. The referendum obviously failed, so UDI no come up. But nation building me Tokyo, even Europe you walk kirap na pundown, Soviet Union kirap na pundown, United Kingdom is still going through the agony of nation building. Countries like Ethiopia, kain Eritrea come up, kain Djibouti or kain come up. South Sudan come up, out of Sudan. So it's not unique to Papua New Guinea. So let's have the courage. Let's think about our people, Bougainvilleans, and think about the rest of Papua New Guinea. Let's go ahead and make a decision. Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
The Honourable Member for South Bougainville, Minister Masiu.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Me sanap long make him sambla talk long this debate, especially long this report. Now tasoli me harim na you me talk long by you me debate more long behind time. You be looking this big report past them. Mr. Speaker, we acknowledge him too na look sabe long Vice President Blomi long Autonomous Region Bougainville, Honorable Ezekiel Massat, na team long M, Honorable Ministers, na our senior officers, all the staff long gallery, speakers gallery. Na mi look sabe tu na tingi more people long Papua New Guinea na Bougainville. As you me talk long this one very, very important situation, one very important happening and become up lo country belong you me. Bila give him look sabe long founding father blow this country. Me been kirap in this country, me play stop na inap now. Na me been got big heart long em to lo Bougainville. Late Grand Chief, Honorable, Right Honorable, Thomas Michael Somare. Na mi look sabe too long Grand Chief, Julius Chen. Mi look sabe too long Honorable Prime Ministers, also Honorable Pius Winty, Honorable Bill Skate, Honorable Rabi Namaliu, Honorable Mekere Morauta, Mr. Peter O'Neill, Honorable Peter O'Neill, now Honorable James Marape long now today, and Mr. Prime Minister belong you me long country. We look sabe long all efforts long all this prime ministers. Now this country long comfort him na give him care of Bougainville. Now today me stand up. Time me harim this report. Me kisim sambla ting. Firstly also we are leaders. And we are the ones who must address this issue and make a decision. Make a decision. You me come Lompla Road now. Now me tight now. Me tight. Long Hamas pla report by come. Me tight long Hamas pla by partisan by go round. Now this pla. Hem good pla. You me finding road long you me come up long pla. Good pla road. But 97.7 me pla decide finish. Let me decision. Me play stand up long em today. Me commending all people belong Bougainville. All people belong me long South Bougainville, North Bougainville, now Central Bougainville. Long maintaining peace by peaceful means. You may stop also long time me come. Now people are so in government blow Papua New Guinea. Also, people give him side blong, deal blow mipla, bargain blow mipla. The mipla by look sabe along this peace. But again, it is important that we come to a decision. Members of this honorable house, you must not can pour it one plus something. Let us not fear. Because God is saving no one and something by come up. Now one and something and come up finish. And time long this country will make him decision. Now I must decision where all people belong Bougainville only decide finish long him. Me like reading one poem, he write him. Long weekend. Let me talk also, Bougainville, look at the sea tonight. The moon draws a path across our waters. The path is not for outsiders. It is ours, the brave, the free. Waves crash hard and pull away. Others came like that. Took, left. But the tide always returns, and so do we. Tides do not quit. They renew. Neither do we. Whose tide is this? Our tide. Whose time is this? Our time. who writes Bougainville's future? Bougainvillean hands. The tide is ours. The time is now. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Sinisena Yangon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Lord, give me this opportunity to say a few things. This plus subject matter, you me talk now. I mean, one place, plus subject matter. So, me like giving look sour blow me, go all sample leader, society go past na leading me, all get lo find him sample outcome, final outcome. He come to this point in time. So, past time through, me like recognize him, Honorable Timothy Matthew, who just spoke. Four leaders of Bougainville, all sit down me inside this chamber. Honorable Timothy Matthew, Honorable Peter Siamalili, Honorable Francisca Somoso, Honorable Jim Miring-Toro, all these leaders, all come at one mandate. Lord, delivering all thinking, demand Lord people blow all. Only go campaign, now win no this platform, now only come at him this mandate, come no this floor. And they kept the issue alive, both in this chamber, now also outside. All work want them all bureaucrats, all get all work man, you work this issue, and then only come work inside this chamber, want me all get our leaders block country, now all trying to help him or navigate this. It's not an easy subject matter. Plenty time one blow this four leader, all sana talk, misa look lol. EMSA were reminding me law, late Honorable Governor Bougainville Southern Highlands, Anderson Agiru. One time, not many years ago, Agiru Sindan lo upside here. Naamsa lead him this country lo debate lo how by you me tell him out him all benefits blow PNG LNG gas project. On the one hand, EMSA Tintin lo mandate blame. How and why na all people blow place blame it, all voting men lo come lo this parliament. So this is one play interest, Mr. Paulsem. On the other hand, MSAWE, also Southern Islands, lo this time, part lo Papua New Guinea, na MSAWE trying to wake him out, how lo balance him. Interest lo Papua New Guinea, one term interest lo Southern Islands, where him kiss him vote na mandate blame. Na time one play leader start lo this kind position, in one place position. But to his credit, late Honorable Anderson Agiru, MSAWE navigating this delicate pathway with the ultimate statesmanship. Miss Asindaw na Miss Awa amused na Miss admire him this late leader. How he's able to speak and keep the two sides together without offending the other. MSA make him all same. And when I look at the current crop of Bougainvillean leaders, for now sitting down inside of this chamber, every time they stand up and speak, I see them behave, speak, articulate issues in the very same way. Also talk one time integrity, talk one time dignity. Now they try to keep everybody together whilst at the same time being the conduit. Lo communicating thinking, I wish na dreaman blow people blow all without compromise. He come inside this chamber. So that usat me people lo this chamber, me sit down narim, me some message blow loud and clear. Such as, for example, one good poem, now not as me arim Timothy Matthew, Honorable Timothy Matthew, and read him, message is upload Islam clear through, you make this message blame. And that's the kind of difficulty they are in as they try to bring a final outcome to the debate we are having. So me give him credit, Lol, for their astute statesmanship in the way they navigate this issue, keeping us all together as we together work to a final outcome. So big pla, hamu mas blow me, look sour blow me, ikam lo you pla for pla leader, sit down want to me here lo chamber. Thank you. Nar sawe long President of Bougainville is Ismail Troama, and become one mandate blame too, and he steadfastly stood to the mandate, the faith that the people had invested in him. even time I'm very stressful and taking too long to reach one final outcome, he is stuck to his guns to make sure that this process reaches its finality according to the process that we've agreed to. So me give him big plan look sour lem na parliament blame lo ABG usat isana puantemem lo make sure that we follow our agreed processes and procedures. So big plan respect lo me eagle honorable president lo ABG. Milai look sour to lo vice president lo Bougainville Ezekiel Marat Masat Ezekiel Masat. This la manen poroman lo mi. Mitbla mangi, mitbla round one temlo aura. Grade 11, grade 12, mitla kam lo university one tem, mitla school lo kama ploya, mitla go kama ploya, na now mi staplo parliament lo Bougainville, na mi staplo displa parliament lo Waigani. Mi amu mastru, also one pla poroman lo mi yet. And mi shoulder him display immense responsibility. Lord, bring him display issue again in fulfillment with his mandate from his people. Lord, make sure that we bring it as far as we have come. And no one plays a responsibility, but he's managed it so well. Me read him all the newspaper and all the paper minister and online all president of this parliament. Me pay my attention. Me hire him. Me am mastrulo work blog. Vice President blog ABG, Honorable Ezekiel Masat. Namelo midla isakoli midla yet sukri. Sela name is tapiet. Mi hama Muslim. Lo side lo Waigani milai luksa long Honorable Manasseh Makiba. As it is difficult for the other side, it is equally difficult on this side. Plandi blo mipla like minister, but many of us are careful not to take that job, because it is a hard job. However, mi look savelo, Mr. Makiba, Honorable Manasseh Makiba, that on this very delicate task, he's walked straight down the middle, and like his counterparts on the Bougainville side, he's kept the two sides of the coin together up to this point in time. So thank you, and my gratitude is extended to the Honorable Minister. One kind talk also by me talk lo Dr. Alan Marat. Lo this la paper I'm present him. Paper I'm present him. Lo give him some clarity on what our people are thinking. The rest of the people in this country are thinking. So at least I'm giving me some understanding lo what the rest of the people in this country are thinking about what we are doing on the floor almost exclusively. So for the first time, there is some sort of a process that enables the wider community of Papua New Guinea to participate and have a say in what's going to lead towards some form of a final outcome. So, Lord Dr. Marat, me express him gratitude, na appreciation lo me, lo leadership, wisdom, na guidance blame, lo this la committee, ikam finally table him this report, lo flow lo parliament. Like Plandy all talk, this issue one delicate matter, but we take our cue from the people of Bougainville. The main message they are signaling is they are tired of this long-winded process. They want an outcome. And it is our duty, obligation blow you me, as members of this current parliament, Lord, give them an outcome. Whether we agree to support the outcome of the vote for independence as reflected in the referendum, or Mipla Tok Nogat, whichever outcome, all talk already lo kiss him. Now will talk you mimi, noken for it. Walk him decision. And what comes, we will deal with it in the normal Melanesian way. Set up the agreed procedures and go forward. Kind something also. So they are giving us the confidence to go ahead and make the decision. We want to make that decision, Mr. Speaker. We really owe it to them to make a decision. They are tired of it. And Papua New Guinea too is probably getting tired of it too. And we need to give everybody the peace of mind now, making one decision one way or another so people can carry on with their lives. However, in order to achieve an informed and universally acceptable decision, you must give him opportunity lo all get a line lo prepare good na kamna talk lo display kind debate lo flow lo parliament. So I'm come back lo original point lo me time me sun up past time through after presentation lo paper from Dr. Marat. Me talk one play important paper through ya. In apply me adjourn him debate. Me no talk all same because me like frustrating process. No God, me understand him gravity blow display issues. Time me talk lo here, me must talk where both sides must give me belicy. And important true. Because whatever the outcome, we're still gonna live together, transact with one another. And that's a subject matter I'll talk about later. Time me all table him referendum report, time minister me table him, and display time by me out him some more tin. Me igat lem. But giving me opportunity, lo, give me timetable, giving me plan, lo, how you like bring me come to final point where me can vote. I think me like asking minister. I think me need to pay attention to what Governor Allen Bedem talk. Set him out procedures blow you good. Now, give him this timetable, come lo me get so that me prepare lo. Office blow me lo, house blow me good. Now me come talk good lo here. Also, late Honorable Anderson Agiru. Also, Timothy Matthew. Also, Peter Siamalili. Also, Semoso. Also, Miring Toro. Me balancing both sides good. Now me must talk. But we can't do that if lo government side or rush him something. Or no give me opportunity. Now what if me come here and working on karangi neck? So me like in government, no can rush him. Tin good na give me good opportunity lo me can. I think me withdraw him this bit.
Honourable member.
Me withdraw him this part where Mr. Government no can arab me pla.
Honourable member, what's a point of order? I'll allow Prime Minister to raise point of order. Prime Minister.
Just point of order. My apologies to the learned member for Sinisini Yagumuk. I want just to make a point of order to point that this matter under discussion is not government business. This is parliament business under discussion. So that's a point of order. Let's not confuse pointing to government business and parliament business. Parliament as an important arm, the foundational arm in which all laws sit, has a right to construct its own opinion. And it's a special parliamentary committee on Bougainville sitting. So I just want to point out, don't say this is government business. While government has taken care of it, the minister has made reference to government's point, and I will make certain clarities. This is a parliamentary bipartisan committee report. Opposition constitutes that committee, as well as government side constitutes that committee. Mr. Speaker, can you make it a point of reference that parliamentary committee is a parliament business matter, not a government matter?
Prime Minister, thank you for your clearance on the point of order. Your point of order is in order. Allow the member to.
Deputy Speaker, me too, me one bell or dislike clarity and give him. So me like him talk bro me go back law one point me like walking past him. Yeah, me like talk. Give me plus sample opportunity na me must tin good line him talk bro me good na come inside lo na me by talk. So now time all arpla porman all talk stop me look him lo this la report lo Dr. Marat. Igolo page 24. Bottom lo page 24, you got one plus subheading and talk. Managing expectations through clarity, communication, and sequencing. Subtitle. Na aninitle mem togol sem, one plus sentence sem togol sem. In this context, participants consistently emphasize the importance of clear, timely communication regarding parliamentary processes. Me no been looking report, but this is the idea me work lo kira past time na me talk here. Put him clarity, give him good plot timing. Me plot talk here too. Part of this report. And yet is calling for clarity and call for timely opportunities. So what we opposition mipla talk here, I think start the report. So you may need to behind him. Now mipla ask him for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 months. It's like I know God. You are working tomorrow. Tomorrow I mean up tomorrow too I mean up. All man wait now tired here, but at least give me legal time. No, mipla can report. Read him this like an important report. Digest him good. Na mipla by come na help him. You me all get a side blow Bougainville, side blow. Papua New Guinea, or this mainland side, na you may all get up one time, na you may work on decision where you may all get up by one bell. Now final decision you may work him no can offend him one man. For whether I'm go way me platting him or you know go away you meeting him lem, you may all get up by accept him, now you may concentrate on next step. What's the next step? Now Q can come cannot massive. He already gave us a clue. Toggle same. Relate him the wave. Wave by come now, then by come half a day later can, normal time and by can, and by keep coming yet, you still have to deal with that tide. Talk, yeah. People are trying to pay more attention, not talk, blow massive. So this is one tide we are dealing with. Tomorrow, normal tide by come, we have to deal with that too. Normal tide by come, no time, no picking blow you me. They have to deal with that too. So all get this you mean by factoring me in our talk. So I'm asking for some process, some timing. Now, put him clear on the table. You may look, now by me talk. On the whole, Mr. Deputy Speaker, me one bell through. Law, all people blow Bougainville, law cooperation blow to due process. Cooperation blow Bougainville government. Cooperation blow display government. Now, past government, go pass law display government. On everybody's side, all cooperate good through. Now, bring me come law display point in time. Me express him appreciation and gratitude for me. Now me encourage him. Also this process, he must continue. Want him one bell, na belisi. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Honorable member for North Bougainville, before me asking you to talk, Honorable member of Parliament, I just want to make a clarification on statements raised by the honorable members in importance of giving time for you to read the paper and debate on it. Honorable member for North Bougainville, resume your seat na Milwaukee statement past them. Me like talk about honorable members or send me walking clarification earlier. If you know read him good statement and you are not ready to make any statement in regard to the statement made by the chairman, you know can stand up na talk. You can hold that because this is not the final debate of this. This debate will still be open. There will be no question put to it. The motion will be moved that the debate will still continue in the next day of session, maybe tomorrow and onwards. So if you think you're not ready to debate on this, and the chair will see from here, if there's not enough member or stand up na talk, then it shows an indication that we move to the next day to continue on the debate. But if you all would want to stand and share the same sentiment of giving you time, then you're still holding us another extra 20 minutes to wait for you to finish your debate. So me make him this clear to house to help him. The clerks are here, and as the Prime Minister has made clear, this is a parliamentary business, and your voice of giving you time and timetable of that, the clerks are here and the Speaker is here. We'll take that into account and we'll see what we can do in the days to come on how we deal with this matter. But for us to debate on this, it is not the final debate. It gives chance to whoever that is ready to make a statement, you stand and make a statement in regard to the statement made by the chairman. But if you think you are not ready now to say anything, then the chair will see from here if Plandin or Tok, we will make a motion to defer to the next days to make a debate. Honorable member for North Bougainville, allow you to.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Me like to thank you through this Parliament. I want to say thank you. It's taken almost 25 years. The time the peace process has come. It's taken about 6 years that me practicing this vote long 2019 that came out to be 98.7. Me talk thank you long this government. Thank you that you make him time lo me play. Parliament can talk lo disla. Me talk thank you long narpla tripla brother blomi. Honorable Masiu, Honorable Chamalili, Honorable Mirintoro, that we're able to hold together when I'm something will come up now. I'm really thankful that finally you may bring him this lekam long floor, long parliament. Over the last Friday, me been talk. Today, I feel there is peace. Peace by peaceful means, where I come up inside, long the parliament, Papua New Guinea. Me talk thank you, long all members of parliament that only walk him talk pinis. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you for feeling that you are part of Bougainville. That me pla 4 pla 2, we're part of Papua New Guinea. There's going to be a new narrative. New plakan talk pisin by come up. Me talk thank you long. Honorable Masiu, thank you for the poem. Suppose some time you mean naplong harim tumas talk where emi straight tumas na talk tumas straight tumas. You can harim time Honorable Masiu I read him a poem. It speaks 1,000 words. Me to thank you long Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, Cabinet long him thank you for making that issue, the Bougainville issue. It comes in down long level blow you me. Parliament, from the Speaker to the Deputy Speaker to the Assistant Speakers. Me talk thank you too that you put in effort long this walkabout, long kissing me come inside, talk, long eventually ratifying this vote, where by stop long handle Parliament, now by stop too long how you may say musati work lo talk, long talk, where you may stand up in finish long em. I just want to say congratulations to this government, the 11th Parliament of Papua New Guinea. Thank you, long you take him time. It was not an easy task, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister. And you know, easy pla talk, long you may bring him come inside, long floor, long Parliament, long this nation, a beautiful nation, a caring nation. I want to say thank you too, Deputy Speaker, that this Parliament, me feeling when I walked in this morning, inoga wampla man, he got belat, inoga wampla leader, he mark him all get the people long, Papua New Guinea got wampla. Bel no good la Bougainville. I feel in this chamber, also big man blow you me member stop talk a bit more time for us to deal with one stop inside the report. And I agree with that. Me just want to make sure that before this government, this term of parliament finishes, that we would have made the decision long sessional order blame me taking vote long him. I have faith in this parliament. I have faith in this government that I'm part of, that we are able to bring a closure to one Papua like Harim, to one people long Bougainville vote long finis. Me watching social media the weekend, all big man Mary blo Papua New Guinea lo here. And I'm feeling there is that feeling of acceptance amongst people that don't sit here, but they watch everything that transpires long government, long social media. Even in this chamber today, Tammy comes in down. I am starting to feel that acceptance that we are able to walk himself report, belong people on Bougainville, is step inside. Me feeling this lot, Mr. Prime Minister, thank you. Long you stand up one time, people on Bougainville. Thank you for that emotional attachment that you have for the people of Bougainville. Thank you to this parliament. Also, we've been talking last week, Friday, every member of parliament, you plug it all big man Mary, you plug out family inside Long Bougainville. Either through marriage, either through long friendship, relationship where you make out long, me talk thank you, that you're starting to accept that Bougainville story has to be tabled on the floor of Parliament. Honorable Belden Nama, I can remember time you go inside Long Calabus. And I remember I met with you one time, Long Shady Rest. Mi holy man blow you na mi bintokim you to Mr. Blow ABG. Thank you for standing up for my people. Thank you that you made the decision, Honorable Belden Nama. You made the decision, no talk, no can, no God. I won't allow Sandline to come into Bougainville. Sir, from the people of Bougainville, we talk thank you to you. Thank you that you tambu man blow me plan now. Thank you for that emotional attachment. Now, why me hiding? I'm married lo mi platuna. And this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. That I continue to say, there is no way but you losing me, now you losing me totally. How about you put it all in Bougainville go when you're already attached to Bougainville? You're already attached to Bougainville. Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, thank you for the time you come fly one day me. And that was the first time that Nissan Island look him you. And that was the first time that Nissan Island look him one member of the National Parliament. You know, man, nothing. The Deputy Prime Minister of this nation. You fly lo chopper, now you go, Kurgutim Nissan, now you kapsaitim I war lahab, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister. I thank you for that. And me mean him, the people of Papua New Guinea love Bougainville. Even supposed to vote when I'm talking about you take him. Even supposed to vote, he go, yes, let our people go. You'll still be part of me. You'll still be part of that beautiful island. You're already part of it through marriage, through friendship, through family ties. Blessing Bougainville, thank you for that smile. Now, true, from the moment I walk into this chamber, Misa fire because you sabe old man putting me come inside look come talk. Like brother Blomi, when play young talk. I say thank you while my vice president is sitting up here, the gallery. Tete me come inside, me not go inside long lo caucus. When I walked underneath this building come, the first thing I saw was a human being stand up lo edge blong step you me come on top, na stick lo hand blong him. Me walk about straight, me no come lo caucus, all brother blow me. Now 2 plus 2 sab blow me, 1 plus stop lo here. Me walk about straight lo go look him, this man is stand up one time, walking stick lo hand blong him. Honorable Vice President, Honorable Masat, thank you, even though close you to plapun down, we are still going to push that last strength to make sure that new pla can talk pisin by come up. New pla friendship na melong tupla by come up Papua New Guinea and Bougainville. Let's not be afraid to make that decision. And I know now, as we massage this together, as leaders of this nation, there won't be any fear by tomorrow. There won't be any fear by the next day if we have to debate this issue. Honorable Masad, Honorable Minister Blong Health, all Mama Blomi, Long Bougainville Sindan, Lohan Kais Blomi Lohia. Thank you, you make him time, lo come sit down. Now you look him, all Brata Susab lo Yumi Lohia, lo PNG Parliament talk. There's never been any hate. I love what has transpired the last, from 2005 to now, that we were able to talk about this issue meaningfully, transparently, accountably. We have not shied away from it. And I know you understand why me plus I come now talk lawyer. I think especially Mama. Long Bougainville, 95% of Bougainville is matrilineal, except for pockets in Nissan and pockets in South Bougainville. Long me plus by you looking Mama ba talk. Time picking ni mani talk and Mama by come na karim talk long him konta. Me talk thank you. Long tupla brother blomi mirintoro. Masiu, picking man. Thank you. Long you play son up one time Bougainville people blow you me that are here to witness what we're saying today. Thank you, you plakam. I think this is the first time since me come in 2 years ago that me look in, there's a lot of Bougainville standing up there. Thank you, lo make him time, lo come, lo here. Lo you took him ticket, lo you come yet. Me talk thank you. Again, to this parliament, long all gata, all elected members of parliament in Salaja chamber, me talk thank you. Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, Cabinet below you, me talk thank you. I know it was one of the hardest things to actually bring to the floor of parliament, because I know you don't want to see Bougainville go away. But if you have to vote in favor to support me, Plafopla, I won't be taking my Matt Igolong Venus. See that as something positive. Me not forcing you to vote, but I would love you to vote my way when it comes my way. This is a parliamentary issue. Also, Prime Minister, you me talk. You know something, belong government talk long him, and something belong parliament talk long him. We are all parliamentarians, from the opposition to the government. Me talk, thank you, that's all that is taken this long. You are in Pinis, Honorable Mashu talk. It's a long, long time. But thank you that we've arrived today. Long this is a long walk about. This is a walk about the walk kai me play stop. Or Baratablomi. We've lost strong advocate for peace. We've lost strong advocate for this law walkabout. In the government that started in 2005, Honorable Masad, my Vice President, I'm sitting on the Tableau Gallery. Not a lot of us anymore, Honorable Parliament, not a lot of us anymore. Masad stopped, me stopped, we started the government of 2005. And every time I see just a few of us, me sabe, I want to miss a cry no go through because it's not an easy task. All baratablo me. Lo mi pla camblo here, mi pla 4 plus all, na mi pla talk or some pla time, 3 pla. 2 pla baratablo me na 1 pla pikini tam on talk na misa talk, me talk. Whether I sound stupid, whether me look all same, somebody said, why you go cry lo parliament? You know, same lo cry lo parliament. Parliament did not block cry. And I said, my son, you don't even know what a woman feels. You don't even know what a mother feels. Me plus a Karim nation, yeah. We give birth to nations after nations. We give birth to the ones that will make a decision. Me plus a Karim pikinima. My cry lo parliament lo here. Em bruki lewa blow you. Em ta solicitate this la talk long. Let's take it on. Yumi Karim na yumi talk long. Mama talk ya. Miga mama blow me too ya. Again to the Prime Minister, Honorable James Marape. 2018 you come missed up long government yet long number 2 government. You come long arawa independence overall you talk. Independence blow Bougainville. Bami put me go inside long bilum long taripore. Me talk thank you. Me Deputy Speaker of the Parliament of Bougainville at that time. Time you make him talk, Prime Minister. Me hold him talk, na me hold him stop. Now you talk, independence vote, blo Bougainville, pa me karim lo, bilum lo taripore. Prime Minister blo me, brother blo me. Time me lose him pangu na me come la upside, which is already in the hindsight. Me not been working also because me got 1 pla belad lo you. Me wanting something. I thank you for taking me on. Now you bring me come inside the parliament. Also you endorsing me. As a leader, me say also brother blo me talk, why you losing pangu? I had people very close to me that said, why are you losing pangu? It took me 3 years to explain to them what I did. Me explain to brother blo me a strong pangu supporter. Now me talk, I had to make the decision because I felt it was the right decision to make at that time. Lo mi go lo upside, na mi talk lo independence, lo Bougainville. It had to take a woman to go to the other side. With that fear of favor, lo mi can stand up lo upside, na mi talk 6 months later, me come back, lo come support him again. I'm your buffer. Me buffer. Thank you. But me sit down now. Me 1 bill 1 time talk come up lo here. Suppose you like him, but you me. Isur kim lilik past me go on, na you go look good for us to come and make an open debate on that. Me feeling the me like stand up na talk na me talk me no ga belat. I know you're starting to feel that we should take this on, na imi debate him good, long passing, blow good pressing down, long Papua New Guinea is a nation. The world is watching us. I think me Harim Prime Minister talk all brata susah blow imi long upside. Lo boda blow imi these are Papua New Guineans as well. Some people came about how many 100 years ago to draw a line and say, you don't belong to this part of this landmass. You belong to the part of that landmass. It really angers me. Even Los Solomon Islands. Somebody from where he come, na talk all saying, but me draw a line too, because you belong to the other side and we belong to the other side. That's an issue that has been going almost 100 years on the other side. Lo boda blow me. It's an issue where I'm online blow me started passing custom, but me talk again. Me talk thank you that you me bringing me come to this. This is the first time in 25 years. This is the first time in 7 years that the results, the referendum, that we're able to come put him here. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you for your love. Thank you. You can look at me also. Me talk something where people in market, me come long. Easy you long. Come sit down in parliament sitting now you can talk also maybe tomorrow but me come back now me come hararim that's all. Long me the whole of Bougainville watches the four of us. And they watch what we do. English too all by tilim, na count him, na scale him stuff. But thank you, Deputy Prime Minister. Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you, Cabinet. Long, you thank you, opposition. Long you stand up on them Bougainville, now you throw me lilik talk, good talk, lo encourage him, all gata, members of parliament, lo here. Long, you me, ikam. Belly see you me come. One time me ready can, speaker, when the Prime Minister, he talk, we can have a debate, an open debate again, but me talk, you can pull him tight him. If the sessional order by come up, one time you feel him also by come up, that'll be after you work in good debate and by good through. But again, my challenge is, let this 11th Parliament go down in history as the Parliament, as the Prime Minister, as the Deputy Prime Minister, as the opposition, as the government that made that decision for your brothers and sisters, for your loved ones, for your families in Bougainville. Thank you, Tomas. I thank God for letting this come up long afternoon, and I thank each and everyone for your understanding one more time. Now God will continue to bless this nation and its leadership. Thank you, Tomas, Mr. Assistant Speaker.
Thank you, Member for North Bougainville, for your contributions towards this debate. Regional Member for Bougainville and Minister for Works and Highways.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker. Before me debate too, I want to take this opportunity to appreciate our Chairman for Parliamentary Committee, Bipartisan Parliamentary Committee, for bringing forward this report. And I just want to qualify my statement this afternoon. Assistant Speaker, I stand here as a second-generation parliamentarian. Predating 1975, my grandfather, Sir Paul Lapun, was in self-government 1964 to 1987. So I make this statement to just highlight to this Honorable House that this journey did not start in '89, but as we all know from the reports and from many engagements, we know that there is a long, deep history of the people of Bougainville in their aspirations. Before me, give him me look save pasta me golong, Vice President Blomi, Honorable Ezekiel Massat, with all my honorable leaders of the Autonomous Bougainville government who are in the House. I also acknowledge all my chiefs from Central Bougainville, including my chiefs from Bana, who are here, all Papua New Guineans that are listening and watching, and all my people of Bougainville that have had their ears on today's session and this debate. me talk gutpla de lo yupla olgeta. As the Speaker, I rise not merely as the regional member for Bougainville, I rise as a son of Bougainville. I rise as a citizen of Papua New Guinea. I rise as a Melanesian leader in this honorable Melanesian House. And I rise conscious that what we do in this chamber today will be remembered long after every one of us have left this public life. Future generations will study this moment, Assistant Speaker. They will ask what kind of leaders we were. They will ask whether we honored our Constitution. They will ask whether we honored our word. And Assistant Speaker, I would like to remind our Honorable House that what we're all doing today is merely following the Constitution, the process that prescribes the peace agreement, to follow the process constitutionally. I would like to remind this House that it was also in 1989 that this House also declared state of emergency on Bougainville. We were very young back then. We were only it was only the fourth term of Parliament in 1989, Assistant Speaker. But it was this House that invoked the state of emergency on Bougainville, that saw us distant, that saw us disclosed from humanity in a dark age that lasted for almost 10 years. Now, many generations from now, they will ask whether we had the courage to complete the journey that our predecessors began. And why I say our predecessors is that it was this House, the 6th Parliament, asked leaders in this House that they started brokering the peace agreement in 2001. It was this House, following the constitutional process. Mr. Speaker, let us clear away from fear. Let us clear away from misunderstanding. Let us clear away from politics. This debate is not about whether Bougainville should break Papua New Guinea. That debate occurred more than 20 years ago. That debate was settled when the leaders of Papua New Guinea chose peace over conflict. Ask Leader C in the 6th Parliament, they chose peace over conflict, and they invoked the peace agreement. The matter before us today is much simpler. The matter before us today is whether this Parliament will faithfully discharge the constitutional responsibility entrusted to it by leaders who came before us. Assistant Speaker, on 23rd January 2002, let me remind this House, the National Parliament took the first constitutional vote. Out of 109 seats, 85 members voted in favor. None voted against, and it was overwhelming to invoke Part 14, which is the peace agreement. That was on January 2002. On that 27th of March, a second vote took effect on the final constitution vote, and 87 voted in favor. None voted against, not one. no division, no opposition, no uncertainty. The leaders of that generation spoke with one voice. The speaker presiding over those historic votes was Sir John Pundari, who today sits among us and has the rare privilege of witnessing both the beginning and the conclusion of this constitutional journey. Prime Minister Sir Mekere Marauta, Minister for Bougainville Affairs Sir Moe Ave, Speaker then Sir John Pundari, and the members of that parliament, together they embedded the peace agreement into the supreme law of Papua New Guinea. Not into an ordinary act, not into a policy document, not into a political agreement, into the Constitution itself. Mr. Speaker, Section 2 declares that the sovereignty of Papua New Guinea over its territory and natural resources is absolute. Correct. That principle remains sacred, Mr. Speaker. That principle remains fundamental. However, Mr. Speaker, exercising that same sovereignty of authority, this Parliament deliberately created a special constitutional framework for Bougainville. Section 276 provides that Part 14 applies only to Bougainville. My honorable leaders, if you are questioning yourself if this decision will fragment Papua New Guinea, it will not. The Constitution says so. It protects, it quarantines. More importantly, it provides that where there is any inconsistency between Part 14 and any other provision of the Constitution, Part 14 prevails. Those words were not inserted accidentally, Mr. Speaker. They were inserted deliberately. They were inserted because Bougainville was not an ordinary political issue. Bougainville was a peace issue. Bougainville was a reconciliation issue. Bougainville was a nation-building issue. Now, there were 4 constitutional steps, Mr. Speaker. Step 1 was the referendum. Section 3 through 8 required that a referendum be conducted on Bougainville's future political status, as we all know. The referendum occurred. The Constitution was obeyed. Step 2, the people were asked to vote freely. The process was internationally observed. The process was accepted by both governments. Mr. Speaker, the people answered. Mr. Speaker, Section 342 required consultation between the national government and the autonomous Bougainville government. That consultation, Mr. Speaker, it occurred. Government after government, Prime Minister after Prime Minister, President after President. Section 342, Section 2 requires that the final consideration by this national parliament, which is where we are today. So in the constitutional process, this is why this matter before us today matters. Not because Bougainville demanded it, not because a prime minister demanded it, not because an individual leader demanded it, but because the Constitution requires it, as it is a constitutional process. Mr. Speaker, the result was clear. The result was overwhelming. The result was unequivocal. 97.7% voted for independence. Whether one agrees with the result or not, it is not a matter of personal opinion. But no one can honestly dispute its clarity. No one can honestly dispute its legitimacy. No one can honestly dispute that it emerged from the very constitutional process the Parliament itself created. Therefore, Mr. Speaker and my fellow leaders, The question before us is not whether we love Papua New Guinea. We do, Western Speaker. The question before us is not whether we value national unity. We do, Western Speaker. The question before us is not whether peace matters. It does, Western Speaker. Peace does matter. The real question is this: will Papua New Guinea honor the constitutional covenant it made with Bougainville? Mr. Speaker, will this parliament complete the journey that another parliament began? Do not feel burdened, my honorable leaders. You all have been part and parcel of a constitutional process. It started in the 6th parliament. We're now at the 11th parliament. We are just executing the last process of what is required by us through the constitutional process. We will demonstrate that the word of Papua New Guinea, will this parliament complete the journey that another parliament began, Mr. Speaker? Will we demonstrate that the word of Papua New Guinea is sacred, Mr. Speaker? Will we prove that agreements entered into good faith are honored, Mr. Speaker? Will we show that the world, that Melanesian leadership is founded upon integrity? Mr. Speaker, history will not remember how loudly we spoke. History will not remember which side of politics we belong to. History will not remember our titles. History will remember only one thing: whether we honored our word, Mr. Speaker. The generation before us choose dialogue instead of war, Mr. Speaker. They choose reconciliation instead of division, Mr. Speaker. They choose constitutionalism instead of violence, Mr. Speaker. And they entrusted that legacy to us. Today, we honor every peacemaker, every mother, every church leader, every chief, every former ex-combatant, every leader who believed that peace was possible. Today, we honor the wisdom of those who embedded that promise into our Constitution. And today, we have an opportunity to demonstrate that the word of Papua New Guinea remains unbroken. For peace was the purpose. For peace was the promise. For peace was the process. And peace must remain the legacy. May God bless Bougainville. May God bless Papua New Guinea. And may future generations say that when history called upon us, we honored our covenant. The Bible says in 5:19, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons and daughters of God." I finish by saying I commend the chairman of the Bipartition Committee of bringing this report to the floor and allows all of us to discuss. And as we highlighted, it is not the end. We will have opportunity to debate thereafter. But hopefully, what I have been able to amplify this afternoon will help guide you when you read through the Bipartition Committee's report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Above.
Speaker, in support of my chairman's report as part of the Parliamentary Committee, I wish to speak in support of my chairman's report very briefly. But before I do that, I wish to acknowledge, like everyone else, the presence of the Vice President of the Autonomous Bougainville Government, Honorable Ezekiel Massad, his leaders, the chiefs, and also I note in particular there are many women from Bougainville who are also sitting at the gallery, and I want to acknowledge them because, as you know, in this Bougainville crisis and peace process, it was the women of Bougainville that took the most important stance to bring back the process of reconciliation. So I want to pay a special tribute to all the women leaders in Bougainville during that crisis, at the beginnings of the crisis time. And their presence in the gallery in big numbers is an acknowledgement of their greater role that they continue to play in this entire process. So milak tok thank you lo all lo kam lo harim displa lik tok.
Yeah, yeah.
I also want to say and acknowledge the leadership under Prime Minister Marape. We have many differences on either side of the chamber. We argue with each other. But today, in this debate of the report of the Bipartisan Parliamentary Committee, I want to say thank you to the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable James Marape, member for Tari and parliamentary leader of the Pangu Party. Thank you, Prime Minister, for your leadership. Since you took over in 2019 and you appointed me as Minister responsible for Bougainville Affairs, and I presided over the 23rd November to 7 December referendum process in 2019, you came and received the result, and you put him lo bilum lo Oltari. And so, and under your leadership, after you won the election in 2022, you maintained your commitment that it is this 11th Parliament where you are the Prime Minister that the decision will be made. And so I want to thank you, and I want to pay a special credit to you for your leadership in this Bougainville matter. 7 prime ministers served before you. One of them was the founding father of this nation. And out of those 7, under their leadership, I also served those prime ministers after I came into Parliament in 2002. It was a very difficult moment. And I understand why the prime ministers then had difficult times. And one of the difficulties that they would do was they always appointed Bougainvilleans to take charge of the Bougainville issue, not non-Bougainvilleans. And I guess that was one of those dilemmas at the time, because such a difficult matter for a Bougainvillean minister for Bougainville to take charge of the issues. And I think that's another lesson that we have learned. 4 presidents of the autonomous region of Bougainville presided over this issue. 8 prime ministers, and you are the 8th. And I want to acknowledge the 3 other presidents of the autonomous region of Bougainville. The late Honorable Joseph Kabui, he took the initial leadership in this. And then, after he passed on, the Honorable James Tanis, young leader. And then Honorable John Momis came in, and now President Toroama with this important issue of the post-referendum process, the final peace process. For me, it was a very proud moment, not only as a Bougainvillean by the Constitution, but as a Papua New Guinean when the final result of the referendum vote was handed over to you. Today, the world is crying for peace. In the other side of the world, bombs and missiles and drones are firing at each other between countries. But in this side of the world, we have a wonderful light at the end of that tunnel where the globe is looking for peace in the world. We as Papua New Guineans must be proud today that we actually proudly managed and concluded a peace agreement where many parts of the world, many peace agreements were never complied with or concluded successfully. And so today I want to tell all Papua New Guineans, and including Bougainvilleans, because they are still Papua New Guineans. They are not a separate country yet. So all of us in Papua New Guinea, inclusive of Bougainvilleans, we must today stand proud despite our diversity in many, many traditions and cultures and languages, this was something the Grand Chief dreamed about, that despite our diversity, diversity was the basis of our unity. And something true here. And we showed it. After the mandate was given, and it was actually, and in my note that I have written, that 97.7% vote in favor of referendum is a very, very strong and very, very heavy mandate. Strong plan, a heavy mandate here, 97.7%. Only 2.3% voted for the second option, greater autonomy. 87% of the people turned up, those who were enrolled, 87%. This mandate here, you come to parliament here, I play a heavy here. At the same time, and this is what makes me a very proud Papua New Guinean, the agreement says that the parliament, the national parliament of Papua New Guinea, has the final legal authority. I mean, look at it. Not many countries in the world adhere to these democratically pronounced processes. We must be proud, Papua New Guineans, that you be behind him, democratic process. While the heavy mandate was given in the referendum, the legal authority remains with the National Parliament of Papua. This plus something here, you must proud here. You behind him law. How many times we have argued about ourselves, leaders, complying one time law, but in the bigger things, in the big picture, I want to point to Papua New Guineans, let us be proud today.
Yes, yes.
Let us be proud today that we are now debating this so-called very sensitive issue on the future political status of Bougainville without the barrel of the gun now.
Here.
This is something it makes me proud. Papua New Guinea, and I will declare to become Papua New Guinean until I am called by the Lord home.
Thank you.
I want to call upon every citizen of this country that you must be proud Papua New Guineans. No matter how matter we go, development in Bagarap or budget go good plan. No, we are proud Papua New Guineans, demonstrated today by peacefully adhering to the spirit of peace that was prescribed in the Bougainville Agreement 2001. I want to emphasize this. And so, in the spirit, whatever the way this honorable legal authority votes, him same peace by me managing goya. And so, the decision under Prime Minister Honorable James Marape and President Honorable Toroama, if the working law, New Zealand law, Melanesian agreement here, we must conclude this by 2027. And now, that's a big decision, good plan decision. At one time, the Honorable Ezekiel Masad briefed us at the State Function Room, and this is what he said, and I quote, "You playa, kare mipla kamlo well ya. That's all time mipla like drink water, mipla rousing water ya. Why you brought us so close to the well, and you are not giving us a cup of water? We have come so far and the well, and the question is, Honorable Masad is not in the chamber, but he's listening. One pla cup by me pla give him you, two pla three pla cup here. Forever, it's an enduring relationship. It's forever. We'll allow you to come to that well forever. That's the relationship that I want to promote with the mainland of Bougainville, mainland and Bougainville. It's an enduring relationship. So whatever we process on the floor, If we can parade, Parliament has to make the decision. It must play its legal authority over the referendum result, and we know how to manage the post-referendum decision by this honorable House. Imi man tu ya, and imi meri tu ya. Laga. And so I'm calling upon no more delays. But I support the call by the Honorable Governor for East Sepik. Let us define a timeline process so that we know, everybody in the country know, that when we come to that sitting of Parliament, this is the agenda of Bougainville that the Parliament will deal with. M3 plus something, this should be our priority now. This sitting of Parliament, next sitting of Parliament, up to September, independence, 16 September this year, the first year of our next 50-year walk as a nation, that we should really plot it out, and then we come and debate and make a decision. I know some of you as governors will go and consult your people. Some of you may not do that very well, but we are all mandated, equally mandated. I represent the people of Abao. We are mandated under the constitutional process of elections and whatever decision this honorable Parliament makes. As long as the last sentence of the chairman's report is complied with. And I want to read it as a member of the parliamentary committee. The last sentence of this report, page 26, reads like this. This report reflects a shared public expectation that decisions on Bougainville's political future will be made with care, responsibility, and respect for both democratic expression and constitutional order, and with unwavering commitment to sustaining peace in Papua New Guinea. That's the conclusion of the entire process. And I am a proud Papua New Guinean to be part of this peaceful process. And I want to say this, I will debate later in the other presentations, but I want to say two things. One, through you, Deputy Speaker, the sessional order. I don't want our Speaker of the National Parliament and his clerk and his advisors to bring the sessional order according to their understanding. The Melanesian Agreement clearly says that it has to be consulted with both speakers of the two houses, here in the National Parliament and the Constitutional Assembly of Bougainville. And so I strongly recommend that that be concluded, and the Parliamentary Committee will make sure that that process is properly concluded, because that is the vehicle under which how the Parliament will process the entire whatever vote or how the House will handle it. So I strongly recommend that that consultation must not be shortcut, that it must be concluded, and then we come and debate whatever is agreed between the two speakers and the two houses, and the Parliament then, this Parliament can decide what is the structure of the final version of the sessional order that we must adopt in order for us to finalize the decision. I want to say this and sit down. The decision rests with this Parliament, but it must be a decision based on preparation, not by pressure, not by force, not by anything, but it must be based on preparations. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
All member for Yalibu Pangia.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to contribute to this debate. But firstly, let me acknowledge the presence of the Vice President of ABG and his delegation, and of course the mothers of Bougainville who are here with us today. Thank you for your presence in this honorable house. Also, I extend my appreciation, like other members, to the chairman of the committee and deputy chairman and the members of the committee for the excellent report that they have presented to this honorable house, and especially the contributions by Prime Minister Marape and President Torama and Minister Makiba. I think they've put in a tremendous effort into ensuring that the continuity of the discussions on Bougainville peace agreement continues, and it has certainly not been a difficult issue. I want to say that Papua New Guineans should be proud of themselves. This is not an issue that we should be embarrassed about or feel guilty about. Many governments, since the peace agreement in 2001, have contributed immensely to trying to manage this very difficult issue. And credit must go to them. We have given all the effort that we can. We've put in many hours and many days, and of course, a lot of resources, budget allocations, and Bougainville has always featured prominently in those allocations by all governments. And that is why I thank the government that, the agreements that they have done, there needs to be a conclusion of this issue. And the time frame that they have set to under the Melanesian agreement in New Zealand is timely, that we should conclude this by 2027 and hopefully before the elections, Mr. Speaker. But none of us were there in 2001 and before that to witness the peace agreements and the intentions behind the peace agreement. So we cannot speak for them, but we can only try and interpret what their thinking was. I think if many of us can recall, many of the participants in that peace agreement were the framers of our constitution as well. They understood very well the functions and the provisions of the constitution. And yet they invoked this particular peace agreement into our constitution to try and mitigate the issue of Bougainville and the crisis that it was facing. And Mr. Speaker, I see the committee's report that it says that this is the spirit of the Bougainville peace agreement, that they have gone about consulting our people in locations throughout the country. And it captures in one of the statements, it says that Bougainville peace agreement served as a political settlement, and it was a framework for peace building. But it goes further on to emphasize that it was all about reconciliation, partnership, and inclusiveness. And that was the balance that it was seeking, this peace agreement was seeking. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, why I say this is that, when we were in government, we approved the conduct of the referendum, knowing very well the outcome will be, Mr. Speaker. We are not naive to the issues that were being raised in Bougainville. Knowing that Bougainville will vote for independence, even though the question was put to them. And now that the Marape government is in carriage of that referendum, we understand the difficulties that it is going through. About the decision that the parliament has to make. Now, we have to understand that the framers of the Bougainville peace agreement gave us options. And that options are not only for Bougainvilleans, also for Papua New Guinea as well. it gives us, this parliament, the right to say no if we have to, and right to say yes. Now the question is, are we all going to accept that? That is the question. Now, I understand that our committee has gone through many locations around it, but it's only gone to 7 locations. Now, we are a nation of millions of people. And I understand that some of us did not go to the elections and get the mandate from our people to vote on this. And I don't think the government was given the mandate to vote on this, so I understand the difficulties. So I think, if we say that we must have a few more weeks or months to try and get some kind of consultation with our own people going, is, again, a genuine call. And I think that, the framers of the Constitution also know very well, any referendum put forward under the Constitution has got to go to the entire country. And that did not happen in the Bougainville case because of the Bougainville Peace Agreement, and that is understandable. But that peace agreement also gave this parliament, which represents the entire country, an opportunity to consult its people. And we have done it through the committee, but going to 7 locations does not give us a clear picture of what our people want, but it guides us. And the report suggests to me that our people's wish is very clear. Through the committee, they are saying that they want peace and stability. And that is the same message we are getting from the Bougainville Peace Agreement. And they want constitutional process. We must follow the Constitution. And Constitution rightly says the final decision is of this Parliament. And I am hoping that, that everyone will respect the decision of the Parliament. And of course, we are yet to find out when the Parliament makes the decision either way. Our people are saying that, what are the future arrangements? This is what the committee's report is saying. So I just want to put to our House that, let us listen to what our people are wanting. And if we give clarity to that, the decision will be easier. We are all emotionally attached to this issue about Bougainville, and some of us have got our own personal decisions that we can make. But I'm not here representing myself. I'm here representing my people. My people need to give me that assurance that after my consultation that I am making the right decision that they want. So I think that, having Bougainville as part of the referendum decision and moving forward, we need to also understand that this particular vote or decision that the Parliament will make has greater ramifications for the country, our country as a whole, going forward. Now, aspirations for self-determination is not only for Bougainville, it's not isolated to Bougainville. There are some other provinces and ethnic groupings in the country are aspiring for the same thing. Now, how does the leaders in Parliament manage that? And I think the relationship with Bougainville going into the future, as our consultation process is demanding. We have Bougainvilleans who are married to Papua New Guineans, Papua New Guineans who are married to Bougainvilleans. We've got grandchildren and families everywhere. While there may be some clarity given in the Bougainville Constitution, the rest of the country does not know. How are they going to be treated? How is their citizenship going to be affected? How is their economic well-being is going to be affected? So these are questions still outstanding. I am not putting this forward to defer debate or defer the vote, Mr. Speaker. I am just highlighting some practical difficulties leaders are facing in the carriage of taking out this vote or debating this issue. So, Mr. Speaker, whilst the challenge I had for us is to try and manage expectations, I think it is very important that we don't forget that we have a country. We have a country that is got Bougainville at heart. The Bougainvillians receive the biggest chunk of budget in every budget that I can recall since being elected to this honorable house. But to say it for a fact, I am also equally very disappointed about management of that funds as well. There is no comfort given to me that it has been managed well. Issues about disarmament and arms disposal, that has not been completed to the satisfaction of the rest of us, or rest of the country, or to the Bougainvillians themselves. There's rule of law in question. Economic well-being is in question. And yet, we put our political debates ahead of this. So, Mr. Speaker, I think, it's only fair to the nation that sometimes the nation been procrastinating on decisions like that. It is finding itself in a difficult position. It's not an easy decision to just stand up here and take a vote. And I urge all members of parliament to give consideration to the well-being of our nation into the future. We are not going to be here, and the framers of both the Constitution and the Bougainville Peace Agreement is very clear in their thinking. They want this country to remain united. They want Bougainville to have some self-determination. And we must find a balance. And the balance is there that you have framed it in New Zealand in 2025 in June, what you call a Melanesian agreement. The opportunities are there for you to frame it. Melanesians are not only in Papua New Guinea and Bougainville. They are across the border. They are in Solomons and Vanuatu and Fiji. This may be giving you a greater opportunity for greater question as to how you can frame them into this picture. You look at other countries around the world, they're getting closer, they're not dividing. European Union has become a powerhouse because they are together, economic powerhouse. And trying to go alone sometimes is okay, but it is an uphill battle. So the Melanesian agreement framed in New Zealand also gives you an opportunity. It says about greater potential for Melanesian and existence in Melanesian countries. Now, there are some answers in there somewhere that I think, our thinkers and advisors need to find a way that, fair enough, if Bougainville gets independence, how are we going to coexist? Some of these questions need to be answered. Some of these questions need to be settled before we take a vote. Otherwise, we take a vote, and once the vote is taken, you have no say. You have no input in how the country is framed or how the relationship is framed. So, Mr. Speaker, I urge that we give members a little bit of time, and I am grateful that the minister stated that he will bring in the question of the orders, sessional orders to Parliament next week. That gives us a bit of time to consult some of our electorates and especially our council presidents and their councillors. They've just recently been elected. So hopefully we can be able to get some guidance from them. And they will say, yes, I'm all right. Old brother Blumi, like, oh, you're going to vote. We'll come and vote. If they say no, we'll come and tell the nation why would they say no. But, it is a decision that is not an easy one, Mr. Speaker. And I urge that, we think it through carefully. And, now yet. We have to do it properly so we understand. And I am very supportive of the self-determination rights of Bougainvillians or anyone else. But, let's do it together so that Papua New Guinea is stable, Papua New Guinea is peaceful. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable the Honourable Minister for Culture and Tourism.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, before me talk, I would like to seek leave of Parliament to give me extended time should I run out of time delivering this very important statement in Parliament. I feel it is important because what I will say will have a lot of bearing on how we take vote on the future of Bougainville and the unity of Papua New Guinea.
Honorable Minister, I would not allow you to go beyond 20 minutes. The 20 minutes time will be given to you, and if you still have the remaining speech to say, as I've alluded earlier, that we will still have the debate continue, the chair can recognize you in the second debate of to complete your statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me first thank the chairman of the bipartisan committee, the Honorable Dr. Alan Marat, for presenting to this Parliament the report, and also our good, hard-working Minister for Bougainville Affairs, the Honorable Minister Manasseh Makipa. I also want to acknowledge the Vice President of Bougainville and the leaders of Bougainville who are seated in the gallery today. Mr. Speaker, I rise to speak on one of the most important issues that this Parliament and indeed our nation will ever confront in our lifetime. The future of Bougainville and the question of the Bougainville Referendum. This is not simply a political issue, Mr. Speaker. It is an issue of national sovereignty. It is an issue of constitutional integrity. It is an issue of peace, unity, sacrifice, and the future survival of Papua New Guinea as one indivisible nation. Mr. Speaker, I stand here not merely as a member of Parliament. I stand here as a Papua New Guinean. I stand here as a former military officer who witnessed firsthand the horrors, pain, and the destruction of Bougainville crisis. I stand here as a person who saw young Papua New Guineans die defending the sovereignty and territorial integrity of our nation. Today I speak not out of disdain for Bougainville. I speak out of love for Bougainville and Papua New Guinea. Section 2 of the Constitution and the territorial integrity of Papua New Guinea, Mr. Speaker. Section 2 of our Constitution clearly establishes the absolute sovereignty of Papua New Guinea and defines the territorial boundaries of our independent state. Bougainville is not a foreign country. Bougainville is part of the absolute sovereign territory of Papua New Guinea, Mr. Speaker. When our founding fathers officially adopted our Constitution by Constitutional Assembly on August 15, 1975, which officially came into effect a month later on the 16th of September, 1975, coinciding with our country's independence on that day. Bougainville formed part of the independent state of Papua New Guinea. That constitutional position remains in effect today. No parliament should lightly surrender the sovereign territorial boundaries of our nation. No generation of leaders should become the generation remembered for presiding over the dismemberment of Papua New Guinea. Mr. Speaker, our flag, our constitution, our sovereignty were built upon sacrifice. Many lives were lost to preserve this country. That sovereignty must never be weakened by political pressure, emotional rhetoric, or foreign influence. The origins of Bougainville crisis, Mr. Speaker, to properly understand where we are today, we must honestly reflect on how Bougainville crisis began. The roots of Bougainville crisis were complex. They involved grievances over the Panguna mine, environmental destruction, landowner compensation, identity, and distribution of wealth. But there were also political failures. The crisis escalated in 1998, during the period when the Pangu-led government was in power under the prime ministership of Sir Robin Amaliu. The state response, 1988, pardon me, in 1988. The state response at the time was inconsistent, reactive, and at times disconnected from the realities on the ground. Mr. Speaker, I was actually doing my year 12 in Soguri National High School when the crisis, Bougainville crisis, escalated. The landowners wanted their fair share of wealth generated from Panguna mine and 10 million kina compensation for environmental pollution, especially on the Jaba River and the villages in the mine area. Instead, the government sent in riot squads, destroyed villages, assaulted women and children. That's when Bougainville men took up arms to defend their women folks, because most parts of Bougainville, or the island of Bougainville, are matrilineal society, and women are the stronghold of Bougainville society and communities. It was never about breaking away from Papua New Guinea, and that must be very important basis for this debate. It was never about breaking away from Papua New Guinea. It was never about political independence. But the nation suffered greatly as the conflict escalated into a civil war. Thousands of innocent lives were lost. Entire communities were destroyed. Families were divided. The economy suffered. The Papua New Guinea Defense Force, police force, correctional services institutions suffered. Bougainvilleans suffered. Papua New Guinea as a country suffered greatly. There were no winners at the end, Mr. Speaker. There were only survivors. I am one of the living testimonies of a survivor, so as many of my colleagues or comrades, including the Bougainvilleans. I still carry pellets from the gunshot wound in my body today, Mr. Speaker. And so, as many of my colleagues and other brothers and our brothers and sisters of Bougainville. In 2001, the Bougainville Peace Agreement ended the crisis and set a framework for peace by peaceful means under the Constitution of Papua New Guinea. Mr. Speaker, today, history presents a remarkable situation. The same political party once again finds itself at the center of determining the future of Bougainville. Under our Prime Minister, Honorable James Marape, the government now faces the responsibility of deciding whether the territorial boundaries of Papua New Guinea should remain intact or be permanently altered. I want to take this special moment in history to thank our Prime Minister, Honorable James Marape, for his bold leadership to finally bring in this matter to Parliament with a resolve to permanently put this matter to an end. My beloved Prime Minister, brother and Prime Minister, I salute you for that decision. I salute you for being decisive in your resolve to finally and permanently put this matter to rest. You are and you will be forever remembered as our champion, including all of our colleague members of Parliament on both sides of the House sitting today. This includes the regional members of all the 22 provinces, the open members of Parliament, and of course, those of us who have the privilege of serving as ministers under the leadership of our Prime Minister, Chief James Marape. Credit also must be given to the 6 successive governments and the parliaments before us. This decision is larger than politics, Mr. Speaker. It is larger than personalities. It is larger than any one government. It is a decision that will define our nation forever, Mr. Speaker. My personal reflections, Mr. Speaker, I wish to speak personally on my personal reflections as a former military officer and Bougainville Civil War veteran. As a former officer of the Papua New Guinea Defense Force, I witnessed the realities of Bougainville crisis. I saw young soldiers with our counterparts from the police force and the correctional services deployed into Bougainville into dangerous and most difficult conditions. I saw the emotional trauma carried by our servicemen. Mr. Speaker, the first soldier who lost his life on Bougainville was Second Lieutenant Yandu from Wasaragawi in Isipik province. That was the sacrifice. Mr. Speaker, I saw resistant fighters who fought alongside Papua New Guinea Defense Force soldiers to protect the constitutional sovereignty and territory of our country. Mr. Speaker, I saw young soldiers die in Bougainville. War, Mr. Speaker, war is not a theory. War is not politics. War is human suffering. Many who spoke before me, who spoke today, and who will speak later in this parliament, Mr. Speaker, were not there. Many did not carry weapons. Many did not bury friends. Many did not witness the pain endured by both Bougainvilleans and members of the security forces. I did, Mr. Speaker. I also reflect on the Sandline affair, or the Sandline crisis, as we all know. The Sandline crisis represented one of the darkest constitutional moments in our nation's history. The decision to engage foreign mercenaries to interfere in Bougainville created a dangerous constitutional and political crisis. Had the mercenaries got on Bougainville, the situation would have been more bloodier than it was already. I believe some of the Bougainvillean leaders, including President Toruama, Ismail Toruama, and Ezekiel Massad, and others, would probably not be alive here today. That's a fact. These mercenaries were ruthless and merciless and followed no rules of war. Had the mercenaries got on Bougainville, situation would have been worse. At that time, many of us believed strongly that Papua New Guinea's sovereignty and democratic institutions were being undermined. The nation stood at the edge of instability. My colleagues, Major Walter Enuma, Captain Bola Renagi, Colonel Max Aliale, Major Charlie Andrews, late Captain Boris Ageda, late Captain Philly Mack, late Lieutenant Colonel Michael David, Captain James Pima, Captain Paul Boga, Major General Jerry Shingrock, Lieutenant Linus Osaba, just to name a few. Mr. Speaker, we all participated to save the lives on Bougainville because we love the Bougainvilleans. I salute those of my colleagues for the bold stand we took to remove the mercenaries from our country. I believed our nation prevented further bloodshed and devastation on Bougainville, but we were banished to Bomana maximum security prison, only to be later released on parole and after serving 2.5 years in jail, and later given unconditional pardon by the Queen of England through advice from the head of state of Papua New Guinea on the 15th of September 2005. Mr. Speaker, we did it for national unity. We did it for peace and for harmony and for the love of Bougainville and Papua New Guinea. Mr. Speaker, I want to take this special moment also to thank the National Alliance-led government under the Sumare Temu government for my freedom and the freedom of my two colleagues. I want to also thank the Honorable Dr. Sep Pukatemu, the Honorable William Duma, who was then the chairman of the Power of Mercy Committee, Mr. Patrick Puraitz, late Dr. Lawrence Carlino, and Moses Maladina for the freedom that they have given me and two of my colleagues. I salute you for that decision. Mr. Speaker, in March 17, 1997, was a moment in history that the country stood together in unity amidst diversity, or our complex diversity, to save our brothers and sisters on Bougainville. The public servants, the three security forces united, the university students, the NGOs led by the human rights lawyer and activist, Mr. Paul Sparkov, now the governor of NCD, the Honorable Paul Sparkov, Petty Lafanama, Father Lack. These are all men that stood with the soldiers, united in one nation, one country, one people, to reject the mercenaries from Bougainville, from going to Bougainville, because we believe it was morally and ethically the right thing to do. Mr. Speaker, these mercenaries are not ordinary soldiers. They are ruthless and merciless killers. The government's bad decision took us 72 hours to arrest all the mercenaries and deport them from our country because of our love for our people on the island of Bougainville, to save 360,000 people on Bougainville. Mr. Speaker, March 17, 1997 will go down in history as the day when the entire nation stood together in unity to say no against the government's decision to hire mercenaries to go to Bougainville. History may not have clearly recognized and articulated the genuineness of our role in Sandline crisis, but history will certainly acknowledge Sandline crisis as the catalyst for the start of the Bougainville peace process. The lesson from Sandline must never be forgotten. Bougainville issues cannot be resolved through force, foreign manipulation, emotional blackmail, or political intimidation. They must be resolved through the constitutional, lawful process and the preservation of our national sovereignty. Mr. Speaker, I will now speak on the referendum result, whether it reflects the true wishes of all Bougainvilleans. Mr. Speaker, we are constantly reminded that 97.7% voted in favor of independence during the referendum. But this Parliament must carefully examine whether that result truly represents a fully informed, free, and fair, balanced reflection of the wishes of our people. Mr. Speaker, referendum occurred after decades of conflict, political messaging, and emotional trauma. Many Bougainvilleans understandably carry historical grievances. However, we must ask ourselves questions. Were all viewpoints equally represented? Were those supporting continued autonomy within PNG given equal voice? Did fear, historical resentment, and political pressure influence the outcome? Did the referendum fully account for the long-term economic realities facing Bougainville? Mr. Speaker, this Parliament must also consider many Bougainvilleans who continue to identify themselves proudly as Papua New Guineans. There are many who value continued partnership with Papua New Guinea. Their voices must not be ignored, especially during the Bougainville crisis and after the crisis. The referendum result was politically significant, but under the Constitution, it was never intended to be automatically binding. This Parliament has a solemn constitutional responsibility to independently assess what is in the best interest, both for Bougainville and for Papua New Guinea. Mr. Speaker, on one of the most serious concerns relates to whether the conditions required under the Bougainville Peace Agreement were fully satisfied before the referendum took place. Peace agreement clearly contemplated two critical pillars, and I say two critical pillars. One is the weapons disposal, and two, good governance. These are not mere considerations, Mr. Speaker. These are conditions that must be met before the referendum is carried out. The constitutional provisions are contained in Part 14 of the Bougainville Referendum, of which is enshrined in our Constitution. Section 338 and Section 342. The question is, were they fully complied? I say no, they were never fully complied. Bougainville leaders and Bougainvilleans failed themselves in complying with those provisions of the Constitution.
Honorable Minister, I interrupt you. The honorable members, the 20 minutes given to the minister has lapsed. By hearing the presentation that he made in his speech, gives more background to the honorable members of this Parliament. in the later debates to come. So using my discretion, I gave him another extra 10 minutes to sum up your speech, honourable member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Section 338, referendum to be held. Subject to this section, a referendum on the future Bougainville status, future political status of Bougainville shall be held in accordance with this division. The referendum shall be held no earlier than 10 years or no later than 15 years. That has been done. The referendum shall be held, that condition is so important. Referendum shall be held only where the conditions relating to weapons disposal, very important, only relating to weapons disposal and levels of good governance of Bougainville are satisfied. Were they satisfied? I say no. Section 342 of the referendum results and implementation. Mr. Speaker, I say this in my commentary, that Section 338, subsection 3, is one of the most debated provisions in the current independence discussion because it expressly states the referendum shall be held only where the conditions relating to weapons disposal and levels of good governance of Bougainville are satisfied. Those who oppose immediate independence often rely on the subsection to argue that weapons disposal was not fully completed and or good governance benchmarks were not fully achieved. The autonomous Bougainville government generally argues that the referendum was lawfully authorized. Both governments agreed it could proceed. International observers participated and therefore the constitutional requirements were treated as sufficiently met before the voting occurred. Section 342 is so politically sensitive because it does not expressly say Parliament must approve the referendum result. It does not say Parliament may reject the referendum result. It does not expressly say the referendum result automatically takes effect. But rather, it only requires consultation between national government and the Bougainville government and the presentation of the result to Parliament. The issue of non-binding nature of the result of the referendum originates from this section and derives from the interpretation that presentation of the results to Parliament is the final constitutional step before the results can be of any effect. Until it reaches Parliament, it remains of no effect, hence non-binding. Mr. Speaker, can anyone honestly stand in this Parliament and say that all weapons were fully disposed of in Bougainville? No one can. Even today, concerns remain regarding the presence of firearms and armed elements in parts of Bougainville, including the so-called Megamui Defense Force in Panguna, Kongara, Kieta, and Arava areas. I know this because I have been there. And Noah Musingu and his armed royal guards and youths in Siwa and Naguvis areas in Bougainville are still alive and exist today. This is a serious matter, Mr. Speaker. The peace agreement did not envision a referendum occurring under conditions where weapons concerns remained unresolved. I believe the so-called weapons disposal exercise was done in haste to meet the approaching closing window of opportunity for the referendum to be held and was conveniently glossed over with the presence of so-called international observers or supervision. There was never a true weapons disposal on Bougainville. Bougainville leaders and everyone know it. They know the weapons are still in Bougainville. And so we failed that condition prescribed under the peace agreement and the Constitution. Don't come to this Parliament and cry when you have failed. And so, Mr. Speaker, secondly, questions remain regarding governance standards. Internationally acceptable standards of governance require strong institutions, effective rule of law, accountability, transparency, financial integrity, stable security arrangements, and effective public administration. This Parliament must honestly assess whether the standards have been fully achieved. For example, I want to see all the Auditor General's report on financial performance of ABG since 2005 to understand financial integrity of the autonomous region of Bougainville. I want to know why Noah Musingu, a fugitive wanted by the law in this country, has not been arrested by the Bougainville Police Service. Noah Musingu continues to operate His Royal Highness and Kingdom of Papala in Bougainville. Where is the demonstration of effective rule of law on Bougainville and by the Bougainville leaders? Where is the performance report of ABG public service demonstrating effective administration, service delivery, and economic development since 2005, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, the issue before us is not whether Bougainvilleans deserve respect. They do. We have given them. We have fought for them. We died for them. We got rid of mercenaries because we love them. The issue is, have they met those requirements? The issue is whether the constitutional conditions agreed under the peace agreement were fully satisfied before any move toward referendum and independence was made. I submit that they were not fully complied with. Recent pronouncement and military-style symbolism by the leadership of Bougainville. I will say it. No one will say it. I will tell them. Because I have operated in Bougainville. The recent developments, recent public announcements and appearances by the President, Ismail Toroama, including references to himself in terms of associated with Commander-in-Chief authority and appears in military-style attire, raise very serious security concerns. What Bougainville Defense Force is this President of Bougainville talking about? Papua New Guinea has only one lawful defense force under the Constitution and one commander of the defense force that reports to the National Executive Council. Mr. Speaker, any political symbolism, language, or conduct that suggests existence of a separate military authority within Bougainville risks undermining both the peace agreement and the constitutional order of Papua New Guinea. Mr. Speaker, Bougainville Peace Agreement was founded upon demilitarization, was founded upon reconciliation and peaceful constitutional engagement. Any movement towards militarization, military symbolism, or separatist military posturing is dangerous and irresponsible. It is therefore unconstitutional for ABG to have its own defense force. Yet it is clear to me that ABG has demonstrated no respect whatsoever for the sovereignty of the national constitution and the peace agreement. The ABG and its leadership have gone ahead with undertakings on Bougainville as if they are already an independent state. This is utterly unacceptable and must not be taken lightly by this Parliament. This is an act of sedition. The President must be summoned and held accountable for his actions. No one will tell him. I am telling him. This Parliament must send a clear message that the sovereignty of Papua New Guinea cannot be challenged through symbolism, intimidation, or parallel claims of military authority. A call for national unity, Mr. Speaker. Papua New Guinea is already a nation of immense diversity. Our strength has always been unity within diversity. Only recently, on the 18th of May this year, the President of Autonomous Region of Bougainville is seen officiating in a fully dressed military uniform on the Remembrance Day in Arawa and claiming himself as the chief of the Bougainville Defense Force. Mr. Speaker, since when did Bougainville adopted its own constitution and became independent? This clearly demonstrates that Bougainville leadership has no regard and respect for the Bougainville Peace Agreement. No wonder why the elements of Bougainville Revolutionary Army, the so-called Megamui Defense Force, have not fully complied with Section 338 and Section 342 of the Constitution for total surrender and disposal of the weapons. Section 338 and Section 342 of the Constitution have not been fully complied and implemented, rendering this referendum process result unconstitutional, Mr. Speaker. I repeat it again. Since Section 338 and Section 342 of the Constitution have not been fully complied with and implemented, this renders this entire referendum process and result unconstitutional. This is not the time for emotional decision-making. This is not the time for political games, Mr. Speaker. This is the time for the call of leadership in this parliament. Mr. Speaker, Bougainville is part of Papua New Guinea. Bougainvilleans are our brothers and sisters. Their grievances must continue to be addressed through autonomy, through development, reconciliation, and partnership. But independence is not the answer. The answer is deeper national unity. The answer is constitutional stability. The answer is meaningful autonomy within one sovereign Papua New Guinea. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, after careful reflection on the Constitution, the territorial integrity of Papua New Guinea, the incomplete conditions surrounding the referendum, the unresolved weapons disposal concerns, the governance challenges, recent developments that threaten the spirit of peace agreement and the Constitution of Papua New Guinea, I state categorically today, for and on behalf of myself and the peace-loving citizens of Vanuatu Green River electorate and Greater Papua New Guinea Party, that this parliament must reject outright the Bougainville referendum result due to the fact that they have not met the conditions of the Bougainville Peace Agreement and the Constitution under Section 338, subsection 3. Let us preserve peace. Let us preserve unity. Let us preserve absolute sovereignty handed down to us by our founding fathers at the independence in 1975, on the 16th of September, 1975. History will judge the decisions we make today, Mr. Speaker, on this floor of Parliament. May we act not in fear. May we act not in anger. May we act with wisdom and courage and unwavering commitment to one united Papua New Guinea. May our Creator God, the Almighty, bless our motherland, Papua New Guinea, as established and defined under Section 2 of our Constitution, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, for allowing the Parliament to process the bipartisan committee on Bougainville Matters. And I want to register my appreciation to Chairman, the Honourable Dr. Alan Marrott, Deputy Chairman, the Honourable Sasindra Mutuval, the Honourable Francisca Semeso, the Honourable Kit Iduhu, the Honourable Lino Tom, the Honourable Sir Peter Ipadas, the Honourable Sir Pukatemu, the Honourable Robert Naguri, and the Honourable Governor Poe. Thank you for taking up the task that Parliament has tasked you to consult our nation and to bring to report on Bougainville so that we can have this moment of discussion. In the structure of our government, Parliament, in my view, is supreme, complemented by the function of the executive government and the judiciary. I want to also indicate to the House that next week, Tuesday, the Minister for Bougainville Affairs will then bring in the government processes, the processes that was agreed between the national government and the autonomous Bougainville government. The sessional order will be ushered in. On the sessional order, we'll open the floor for detailed further discussions, and eventually and I propose to this House on the anniversary, on the 25th anniversary of the signing of the Bougainville Peace Agreement, on the 30th of August this year, before our Parliament goes into, or before our country passes through our 50th year and enter into our 51st year, this Parliament would have been given the privilege to have processed the entire peace agreement process that has been running since 2001 and to bring this leg of the journey to some sort of conclusion or punctuation mark before we embark on the next journey. Mr. Speaker, why do I make this inference? If Parliament talk yes, and I want me like speak lo pigeon if all right, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Suppose Parliament talk yes, me not think Bougainville will go now yet, we'll stop yet, and we'll work through that process of pathway for yes. If Parliament talk no, me not think Bougainville cross na go na, you may birua now yet, no God, but you may still walk it. I want to pay my acknowledgement to those who carved out the Bougainville Peace Agreement. Some have passed, acknowledged on the national government side, the late Sam Mekere Morata, who was Prime Minister then. On the side of Bougainville, they were led by the late Joseph Kabui. I acknowledge Vice President Massad, who was there at that point in time. My sister, the Honorable Francisca Semoso, was around that time. Others have passed, others still remain, including President Ismail Toroma. 2001 peace agreement was then transplanted into Part 14 of our nation's constitution. Since then, no guns has been fired. If you look at 2001, that's about 25 years from 1975. You look at now in 2026, that's about 25 years from 2001. So as we go through our 50th year period, the story of Bougainville has been deeply part of the story of Papua New Guinea. For better or for worse, we are entangled into one story. At 1975, August 15, when the Constituent Assembly passed our nation's constitution that birthed the sovereignty we call Papua New Guinea today, the most diverse nation on the face of planet Earth, over 836 languages, including more than 30 or 40 or 50 you have in Bougainville as we speak. The entire diversity was fused into one union we call Papua New Guinea today. The party that I lead has played a fundamental role in the construct of Papua New Guinea. The constitution we have today, the movement leading up to the independence of our country today, the Honorable Peter Siamalili, Minister of State, Regional Member of Bougainville, as well as Leader of Government Business, alluded to his grandfather was in the first House of Assembly. Well, his grandfather was the first leader of Pangu Party at the birth of party on the 13th of June, 1967. Mr. Deputy Speaker, combine the aggregate work of leaders on Bougainville and Papua New Guinea birthed the country we now call PNG today. And in the midst of that journey we've had the last 50 years, many ups and downs, more downs than ups possibly, or maybe more ups and downs. Amongst one of the greatest stress has been the Bougainville crisis up till this point in time. At 1988, Mr. Speaker, needless to repeat, but to remind, we were only but 14 years old as a country when the power pylons, I remember very, very clearly, I was a grade 11 student at Kabifa. Power pylons came off, newspaper headlines went off, power pylons were failed. It was a law and order issue, Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker. Just like today, you have recurrence of law and order issues up there in the highlands, near PNG LNG, near Pogra gold mines. The government in its wisdom then sends police, and the police is not enough to address, and defense force go in. Today we also invoke provision of our constitution, sometimes under state of emergency envelope. But in 1988, what was a law and order issue spiraled out, and eventually we are here in 2026 in this discussion as we discuss on whether we split or remain in this union. But Mr. Speaker, I think the committee does justice a little bit to the entire Bougainville story. Looking at 1988 alone is not enough to give context to the entire Bougainville conversation. That was 1972, a murder that took place in Goroka Teachers College. Bougainvilleans wanted to be on their own at the time. In the 1960s, there was also a question of us being on our own. I remember growing up, and it wasn't Bougainville more so, it was North Solomon Province we were calling. Where do you get the name North Solomon from, Mr. Deputy Speaker? It was carved out from Solomon. North Solomon was a transaction between Britain and Germany. When North Solomon became German North Solomon, and Solomon Island became British Solomon Islands. The history of Bougainville and PNG is a Siamese twin story issue that has run parallel with our colonial history up till today. But the story of Bougainville and PNG will not be dependent on colonialist mindset or even United Nations definition, and I'd like to put this up front. United Nations will not define where PNG and Bougainville goes from here on. No one from outside will define where we go from here on. It is ourselves. That is why the second Bantam conversation talked on invoking the Melanesian spirit, the Melanesian people. The construct of country is a modern-day conversation, Mr. Deputy Speaker. For what good is a country that is defined by modern definition? If people are not okay, if lawless still prevail, and if borders restrict movements. And so I commend the former Prime Minister who spoke on maybe in the conversation in Melanesian agreement you've signed in Bantam, there may be a wisdom inside. What did I said? And at this point in time, I want to pay a special mention to the Bougainville leaderships. I take my head off to you, Masat. You sit on top. President Toroma. Yes, Lord, here you may have him, Samla talk to, all talk, he come up. You know, Mino, some all cross you. My brother, the member for Wanamo Green and leader of the PNC party, the Minister of Tourism, is one of those overqualified to talk about Bougainville because he put his body on the line. He put his body on the line to stop a foreign mercenary from going to Bougainville to do reckless, and part of the recklessness would have been harm. PNC soldiers putting their body on the line. Today you may think the Honorable Bell Nama is speaking hatred, but he's speaking love. Just like when the Bougainville leaders signed the 2000 peace agreement, it was in love that we signed the peace agreement. 25 years on, at the Said, or right through the 50th anniversary of our sovereignty, or that modern definition of sovereignty that the United Nations have defined on us, we are in these discussions. Mr. Deputy Speaker, we'd like to big thank you, our leaders for Bougainville. Yes, on PNG side, we acknowledge him all soldiers will put down in the call of duty or lose him life. Mr. Speaker, I stand here. You know, we all got to get one line. On March 1991, people are not plenty of policeman or army or public servant. People are last kanaka. People are last pla. Papua New Guinea lo come in contact with them, school savannah, or walk. And at 1991, we had only few policemen. One of my tribesmen, late Joseph Tangaria, was the first policeman to go down on the Buga Passage. So I stand here with my heart divided on what sort of decision I must make as member for Tari. First policeman losing life, late Joseph Tangaria. Never retrieved his bones. His bones is in the Buga Passage. But that is a call of duty. Policemen die, army die, but more Bougainville die. Plenty of blockades, plenty of gun blong resistance, plenty of gun blong BRA, plenty of gun blong PNC soldiers. That's all past and past. How do we reflect on the past and shape a future that is not offensive to Bougainville's aspiration for self-determination, whilst at the same time, we all of us are struggling to grapple with, holding all of us together. And I believe the answer could be found as we progress. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Section 342, subsection 1. And all leaders long, you mean long 2001, I'll sign him here, I'll put him answer stuff inside. Me like you may all get a leaders from Bougainville, now Papa inside, go back now, read him. Section 342, subsection 1, I mean, I'll give him sunset, long time block consultation. Before referendum, after parliament, he decide, one of the conditions you make him, constitutionally, me talk, you must talk on both sides and find him solution. As 2001 agreement, he come up through peaceful means, and no got gun if I had coming up tete. This generation of leaders, we must settle all Papa and Mama living style of Bougainville and rest of the country, and we must give hope to the children in Bougainville and rest of the country. To the Bougainvilleans, when I pick up the result on 7th of December 2019, I made a statement. You want to talk Bougainville, and I stand here as a person today. If it weren't for a Bougainvillean missionary in my father's village, my father, who was an orphan, would not have been adopted by that missionary family. Would not have, my father would not have been taken back to the place he was in my mother's village, and possibly would not have found my mother, and I would not be here today. So I say thank you to the Bougainville missionary, the Sakias family. They're still my family to this day. I go in Bougainville, I'm with them in Bougainville. So I speak to my Bougainvillean people. You're Honorable Ismail Toroma's people as much as you're my people. If your guns go off in Bougainville today, I have no ability to defend you. The Honorable Belanama maybe is correct, maybe it's wrong. You assess yourself. Mekamu 1, assess yourself. Mekamu 2, assess yourself. Mekamu 3, possibly 4. The Musungu Kingdom. All this. As I speak today, when we process this into the floor of Parliament, this Parliament will make it in clearest definition, no PNG Defence Force or PNG, Royal PNG Constabulary will ever enter Bougainville again. Whilst it's within the sovereign, as we work through the sovereignty conversations, we will not send police in again, because we sent police in 1988, and the turnaround on the police was more serious than a basic law and order issue. It means we are cutting off one part of our sovereignty that was designed when the Constitution was birthed on 15th August 1975. So no police will come from Port Moresby or Waigani or Rabaul into Bougainville. No PNC Defence Force will come again. What guarantee will you give me that every people in Bougainville will be protected by Bougainville police? Because they are my responsibility, or whoever comes as Prime Minister in 2027, that's that person's responsibility as much as President, your responsibility. The serious consideration on law and order in Bougainville is something I grapple with all the time. If I let go, what is the assurance? BRA descendants will not turn against resistant descendants. etc., etc. So, Mr. Speaker, those are the issues I grapple with. Issues I also grapple with, for instance, today, the operational expenditure threshold in Bougainville is almost $1 billion kina, and subject to our funding. I do apologize, since 2001, sometimes we have not funded you to the 100%. But the fact remains that almost the collection on the island, you collect less than 5% of your total expenditure cap. That's why this government, following from the PNC-led government's work on Panguna, we've allowed you to have 100% Panguna. All powers that is meant, especially in the economic power, and Section 299 of the Constitution, if I'm not wrong, talks about the powers, over 60 powers. And on our side, if we have failed in giving you the drawdown, allow you to draw down the powers, we say sorry, but the power needs to be drawn down in fully. Section 299 talks about the fullest power you have to draw down. Those powers must be drawn down and exercised. You do not need to wait to be independent to draw down this power. You must have drawn down this power already to function as an autonomous region. Those are work that we could have done before, we haven't done yet. More work we will do going forward in this space. And Mr. Speaker, I want to ask my friends in Bougainville, my heart is for you, but my mind tells me there's two different things, mind and heart. My heart is soft, but my mind tells me this, and especially the safety mechanisms, economic safety mechanism and social structure safety mechanisms. Because once detachment takes place, if it does, as allowed, PNG soldiers and police will never come back. And even if detachment doesn't take place, I would have advised any government into the future, don't send police and defense into Bougainville. Let them survive and live on their own. We'll assist them in any and everything we can as to relate going forward. These are serious matters of consideration. But coming back to the issue at hand, I want to thank again Bougainville leaders. Thank you through Loipla respecting Parliament. We cannot take this away from them. This session, you must, because Parliament, you currently report come inside. We like talk thank you long President Oroma. We like talk thank you long Honorable Masat. We like thank you all the Bougainville PC and Bougainville executive members, one time ministers, all Parliament, now leaders. They could have protested. This government and Bougainville government conducted about 4 post-referendum consultations. The first time, Mibla Bung long Kokopo. Mibla Bung lo Kokopo. Na Misra Wambla Tok, as high as Mount William is. Bougainville Tok, but Sanabe, minimal. Mount William, you never lost him until Kingdom come back, Jesus come back. 97.7% am Sana finished, am Sana forever. You ask me why me meaning Tok. Me Sana Tok simply because we may approach this, we will certainly be approaching this by Parliament vote. Now, Parliament vote which way? Referendum result, but you reminding me play it forever going forward into the future. Taimigo Golong Bougainville locations referendum result. Sepuka was handing the result in at the government house. I was in Bougainville, personally myself with fellow few national leaders, including Deputy Prime Minister. Me talk also, me karem display long Bilum Blomi was a member of Lotari. I could have said me karem was a Prime Minister. But Mr. Speaker, me talk me karem lo Bilum Blomi was a member of Lotari, knowing that one person called James Marabe, today a member of Lotari, and 2 hold him office lo Prime Minister, am no got unilateral right to block him country. Vote blogan and one blah, as member of Lotari and Basana. So to my Bougainville friends, time me clear him, time me kiss him result long. Arawana, me talk as a me kiss him, I put him lo Bilum Blomi as a member of Lotari. I was telling you that when Section 342 subsection 2 prevails, and that's members of Parliament will collectively make a collective decision. And rightfully so. This parliament or this country, Blue James Marabetasol, and Blolgada, Tokless Lo Westipik, Tokless Lo Western Province, or Tokless Lo Manus, or Tokless Lo New Island. Today, all one Tokless Lo New Island, we got Lear Golden, or Tokless more autonomy stuff. So as Prime Minister Tete, me must look. Today, tomorrow, na backside. What am happening backside? Look at him. Me cause him fracture. That's why your brothers Lomi Masatna, President Tami Plastalo Wabek, the second post-referendum consultation of Wabek, me ask him Yupla. You think from my perspective, and I will think from your perspective. And my perspective is this. This country is a diverse country. One trigger, and we could disenfranchise this country. How do we find a solution that does not disintegrate the country, but hold our country while giving Bougainville still a special place? In reflection, the 97.7% result that will forever stand into the future. So I want to thank you. After Wabek meeting, Papua New Guinea Masawe, Bougainville all in a fight, all in a protest, all in a cross. All talk, Prime Minister, Miplaharem talk, that Parliament must make him decision yet. So I want to place on record here in this day, 2nd of June, 2026, 3:05. So thank you, along all Bougainville leaders. You cry one time, I were one time, pain one time, I could understand your pain. But I want to salute you for giving respect that PNG Constitution, Supreme, decision of PNG National Parliament by take place, and one decision come up by you accept it. And as me talk all Islam, me like talk. Not all hope is lost, me like Sanabim talk. And to all members of this side, two sides of the House, let's not be ignorant of the 97.7%. If there is a no, it must be a no with a yes. If there is a yes, it must be a yes with a no. What do I mean by this? It means we must find solution. Yemi Melanie say, white man come not talk, you Bougainville, na New Island, na me Papua, na me Tari, na can put him namelo, on the line namelo, you mean upside na. Me blalo here. We have to construct something. My brothers and sisters in Bougainville, I've come to you more than any other prime ministers in as far as post-conflict or post-peace agreement time. More than 8 times we come sleeps in Keke. Parliament, you respect him, but take him decision, close to. Possibly on 30th of August, coincide one time peace agreement decision date long 2001. When we take the decision, if majority is in the side of no, it doesn't mean we don't love you. But we'll find a solution that is higher than just a no and Lusim Gorana, you stop, also now you stop. If majority talk yes, well, I will ask you too. And I need the spirit of section 342, subsection 1. They all talk yes, finish, but are you ready now or not? How about you look at him all? Line long buino, Siriwayo, backside lo Konagolo, line stops, backside lo Noa Musugu line na. Suppose heavy come up, how about you look at him all? You make a relation yet until certain time you send up strong, you can go. Me big lo brother play you, me mama play you. But you may relate yet some time go into the pit. Suppose majority here talk no. Yes. Suppose majority talk no to me talk me giving belly see on our side. This Pangu administration. We will not pick you up and drop you down. It's a no, and we relate like this. We respect that you voted, 97.7 voted for high autonomy. Me talk long Bougainville Peace Park or Loarawa, timing up result me talk. Everything, especially Stabanedlo 299, draw down yet, you kiss him. And more to me can give him except foreign relation matters, defense matters, currency matters, especially these three. So triplet assault me hold him. Over something, you kiss him. Me like Toggle say, me got models tabaran, Mr. Deputy Speaker. One of the place along Spain, will call him Catalia. Over 100 years ago, like come up independent from Spain, make him come 2017. They had referendum. But today they're not yet independent. But Catalia, if Catalia was a country, Catalia would be in the top 50 economies in the world today. So did they wait to be independent to be economic powerhouse? No. Whilst they pursue independence, there's still a robust economy functioning under the Federation of Spain, but totally functioning. 2001, Mr. Deputy Speaker, Section 299 powers were inside. How much have we drawn down and what is being utilized? Section 338 aside, I'm just asking on the powers already we have. I want to conclude by saying, Mr. Deputy Speaker, our brothers of Bougainville, the rest of the country, let's not fear about this one. We will find a solution. We must find a solution. Yes, in the midst of deciding, there'll be people who will be feeling offended. But offended as it may be, whatever it is, we must find solutions. Together we walk through. Some other model we've been looking, this government has been looking. If it is a no, how do we relate going forward? If it is a yes, how do we relate going forward? In transition to whatever it is the future may decide for all of us. You look at UK today, there was a reference made on UK earlier, Mr. Speaker. United Kingdom has 4 nations, 1 country. 4 nations, 1 country. Nation of Wales, nation of Scotland, nation of Northern Ireland, or Ireland, whichever it is, and England. 4 nations, 1 country. Or you look at models closer to home. Cook Island-New Zealand relationship. Cook Island is not in United Nations, but Cook Island sits in PIF. Cook Island sits and makes their own call as a sovereign territory, yet with an umbilical cord attachment to New Zealand. There are models around for us, especially with the notion, and I want to leave with this. My brothers and sisters in Bougainville, my brother President Toroma, all guns have come out. I talk about nothing else. I don't want to talk about good governance, but I just talk about guns, because I am Prime Minister of your people as much as you are President of your people. I am fearful because I will not send police more into Bougainville. I will not send defense into Bougainville ever. The treaty we signed with Australia is not to target Bougainville. It's just a sovereign protection in the midst of many contests happening elsewhere. Bougainville, you blow me. Nogan Porada Disla, there was a, I want to rephrase one author of America in the early 1900s, let me talk. The nameless author, Lovegrave or something, I forgot the name. Let me talk, the greatest fear of fear, the greatest emotion, the greatest human emotion is the emotion of fear. And the greatest fear is the fear of fear itself. A fear of the greatest human, the fear is the fear of itself, fear itself, and fear for the future. Mela ask him, you mean no can poret. Country, you mean aspire to country, and concept long all United Nations, United Nations, you know, stop. Time to monobly stop Bougainville and the rest of PNG. And up in the highlands, in Cook, in Western Highlands, 10,000 years ago, when agriculture was practiced, United Nations, you know, stop. When more than 10,000 years ago, Melanesia settled in Bougainville, United Nations, you know, stop. This must not be driven by United Nations outside. You yet must find a permanent solution. Country without economic well-being and one, you know, look at us today. 1975, you mix independence, only 300 million Kenya budget. Today, you mean Australia yet, all gonna have no country, road no connect yet, planting beginning no school yet, working no stop yet. Money no big plan. First thing first, economic well-being of our country, including Bougainville. That's why we like Panguna can make finish 100%. Only the government start him, Marabe government finish him. Kakao you get up him, Ogara get up him, rest of our country. My brother Belen, you talk long good governance here. I mean, Bougainville does also, even though one point in Bougainville. Ogara provincial government, I had a cabinet last day. Ogara provincial government, only 2 reported on the financial reports last year. Ogara no reports, so it's not only Bougainville, so let's not pinpoint the Bougainville. That is a more to you. Make Ogara all to him right. Panguna carry me for first 14 years. Money must not be a conversation. It's a conversation of heart. Me talk to law, outside. So we send up here, you send up strong or no cut. No. Buka House of Assembly, you blood talk lab, maybe to talk here. Email brother, not up suddenly one night, but Bougainville go upside, no, me block upside, no, by me stop yet. So Lucy United Nations Pastor. Lucy one, let's not be time bound. If you make current result come for the process law comply law 2001 peace agreement, if comes in and this parliament says no, let's turn around the no and find a yes answer. If this parliament says yes, let's turn around the yes and find a no answer. I believe the heart and soul of Melanesia conversation will find a consensus that is win-win for all of us, that two people remain in the same space forever going forward into the future where our children can flourish together. So I want this parliament not to be fearful. As we bring the results in through a sessional order next week, Monday, Tuesday, a sessional order will be introduced. And Minister of Bougainville Affairs will talk long display issue from a government perspective. 30th of August 2026, we must take a decision in compliance to 342 subsection 2. Thank you too much, Mr. Speaker.